podcast, and we'd love for you to join us by listening to our weekly show on all the top podcast apps, both in audio and video format. At 1819 News, the podcast, we are in pursuit of a free and flourishing Alabama. Every week, we're having important conversations with guests from across this great state, all with the goal of equipping Alabamians to be in pursuit of a free and flourishing Alabama with us. New episodes are released weekly. I hope you'll join us.
A Houston County judge has decided that a lawsuit involving a Dothan church and the United Methodist Church can move forward. Harvest Church in Dothan has been in a legal battle with the United Methodist Church regarding their facilities. This comes after Harvest Church chose to leave the denomination after being members for 25 years. The Alabama West Florida Conference of the UMC has since countersued the Harvest Church, seeking to get the whole case against them dismissed. That lawsuit has even gone before the Alabama Supreme Court, only for the judges there that this case needs to be resolved in a county court. I'm Andrea Tess.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-367-6289. 800-367-6289. 800-367-6289.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. At PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
The top country. We live in the southeast. We drink sweet tea. We don't drink socialist Kool-Aid.
Joey Clark.
Oh, welcome into the program. I'm your host, Joey Clark. In studio with me, we have Byron Sheehy. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing well, Joey. What's up, man?
Oh, I'm doing all right. Having way too much fun with the new capability of ChatGPT, of turning everything into a cartoon, like an adorable Studio Ghibli cartoon.
Well, at least it's an adorable cartoon.
Yeah, it's way too much fun. And I know there are a lot of folks doing that online right now, taking historical events and putting them through this process. Like one was even Bush being whispered to on 9/11 as he's reading to kids, but it's like a cartoon. Yeah, it's kind of surreal at times, adorable in other ways. I might have taken my little niece, Lucy, and it was already an adorable photo, and it became even more adorable in the process. So it's it's kind of fun to mess around with that. I was in the usual wicked mood I find myself in the morning. But this is like, this just heals the soul.
So nothing nefarious. You didn't.
No, I didn't do anything nefarious.
Okay.
I mean, I might have taken Kay Ivey shooting that gun in that commercial and turned her into a anime character.
Ooh.
But I thought it made it look even better.
Have you showed it to the world?
No, not yet. I've been messing with all this, probably not paying enough attention to the news. But there is plenty going on in the news. For instance, the FBI has arrested high-ranking MS-13 leader in Virginia, Kash Patel and Pam Bondi, saying, we didn't need new laws. We just needed a new president. He gave us the directives. I believe Kash Patel's quote is, this is what happens when you let cops be cops, when you let good cops be cops.
Where was it? Arlington, like right outside?
Probably
DC?
in that area. I don't know the specifics, but I'd imagine in a metropolitan area there, right? Yeah, right outside of DC makes a lot of sense.
Right under our nose.
I've spent some time there. It's a nice part of the country. Like proper DC, I would not want to live in.
I love that the welcome to Virginia signs about 23, 25 miles outside of DC. And I've asked people from Virginia, they said that is not an accident.
Yep. Yeah, you need to get a little ways out of that whole area. But yeah, like I visited friends, they were living right on DuPont Circle and like that. And they're spending all this money for like this, not as big as this room.
Oh, I mean,
it's crazy.
When I was there, it was appalling. I mean, it was sick.
Yeah. So that's going on. NPR also facing all sorts of criticisms, especially by that mayor, the CEO of NPR.
Oh,
the blonde woman of a certain age. She didn't do well in that hearing yesterday.
I caught a little bit of that. She did not come out smelling well.
And we got plenty of clips from that. Trump has given an endorsement today of Lindsey Graham. Really? I'm not surprised.
What's he doing an endorsement for?
Yeah, Lindsey should be fine. No, it is amazing. Like Lindsey Graham knows which way the wind is blowing.
Front door, back door, he sweeps up around both ends.
In particular, that recent turnabout with Ukraine and Zelensky. We can't do business with this guy anymore. It's like, Lindsey, you were like acting like his best buddy the other day.
He didn't get the memo yet, man.
It's just amazing. So Trump has endorsed Lindsey Graham. Remember all the talk of somebody needs to buy TikTok? To keep the TikTok, we need to have an American interest buy the TikTok.
I remember. I'm not all about the TikTok.
Yeah, I don't use TikTok either. But JD Vance leads an investor group preparing to buy TikTok. So you got the vice president jumping in that regard. Trump yesterday also signed orders requiring immediate FBI declassification of the whole Crossfire hurricane investigation, otherwise known as the Russiagate scandal. It's probably going to be fascinating to see what's actually in there. I know there are a lot of folks upset that not enough people went to jail, which, okay. But there's a lot of information. For instance, if you go back to the hearings that John Durham did after his report came out, yeah, there's a lot there that completely, in particular, discredits Christopher Steele and the so-called Steele dossier, but a lot has been hidden from the public, despite even the Durham report, all this stuff. So Trump has straight up declassified it. And I think this is a predicate for continuing to revamp the FBI. Like you think, oh, what you hate cops, you don't care about federal law enforcement. Like, okay, look what they did. And in fact, we're all for the frontline guys making arrests like they just did of that MS-13 guy. We're all for the guys that stop sex trafficking and child trafficking and yada, yada, yada. Like most of the people out there doing investigations. Hey, you want to investigate Alabama? Hey, all of you folks in Redstone, could you come on to the central part of the state and look around Montgomery here?
Sweep up around the back,
right?
Home base a little bit.
But when it comes to the top-heavy, insular, almost incestuous leadership at the FBI in Washington, D.C., way too many people in that central office. And you have, I think, a completely different culture, like most of D.C., that is removed from the rest of the country.
Yeah.
So I think by unredacting all this stuff, it sort of lays out the predicate of, yeah, we're serious. We're going to completely revamp the FBI.
So long as we can hold these folks accountable. I mean, if there's not a course of action once it's known, I mean, if they're insulated and protected, from bureaucratic red tape, garbage, then we got to cut through it. They got to go.
Also, ICE continues its work. Boston's mayor has been Mayor Wu.
Not familiar.
She's been wretched and like, no, we'll welcome all folks in here. Where now ICE is picking up like known rapists and predators, and they're like, no, it's a sanctuary city. It's like, I can kind of understand if you're like, this is just an everyday person who came into this country and they're trying to get a new life, the American dream, and we're a nation built on immigrants, yada, yada, yada. It's like, I don't completely buy that, but we'll give you that for the sake of argument. What about the convicted murderers and known gang members and the people that abuse the most vulnerable in our society? Why can't you cooperate with the feds on that?
Right.
So ICE continues its work despite the mayor there pushing back. Speaking of overhauling things in the federal government, RFK Jr., we'll play the video in a little bit. RFK Jr. is planning to overhaul the bureaucratic sprawl at Health and Human Services, cuts 10,000 jobs in first step.
What was that, like 40%? I mean, there was a percentage associated with it, and I was like, that's a pretty healthy chunk right there, man. That's a nice start.
In his first step, he cuts 10,000 people. That's just first step. So we get to that. CDC and FDA will probably face around 18% staff cuts. So the doging of the federal government through agency heads continues apace. In many ways, this whole signal chat thing, it became a nice little distraction. Gave, I think, Elon Musk and Doge a little bit of time to breathe for a second, as they were taking all the heat every day. And we're also seeing more and more folks go to key or vandalize Teslas with paint or whatever. And they're forgetting that all these Teslas have cameras, mini cameras,
security, Century Security, like 7 cameras, and all these.
Yeah, good cameras.
They all have fit a certain MO to like.
Yeah, and one of the people caught that's now been identified, it's the wife of a guy who is in DocuSign. He was a software engineer for the whole virtual signature thing. So they're multi-millionaires. And she was the one caught vandalizing one of these Teslas. Awfuls.
People are just horrible, man.
Affluent white female liberals. Awfuls. Ooh.
You know, you don't agree exactly like I do, so I'm going to teach you a lesson.
But then there was one, and I need to studio Ghibli this, or however you say that word. There is one guy who's got to be 300. He's a butter mountain. He's a big old boy.
Sneaking up on somebody.
Nope, not sneaking up. He's on a miniature four-wheeler.
Oh, bless his heart.
Yeah, it's not a big four-wheeler you'd properly take out in the woods here in Alabama, which I've been too long since I've done that. It's so much fun. No, it almost looks like a go-kart, but it's a four-wheeler. And he's like 300, maybe 4 bills. I don't know. It's a big old boy. And he was arrested for ramming into several Teslas in the parking lot. And one of the Teslas caught the video where he's just like, big old boy. I'm like, that's not, you already have enough trouble with your blood circulation. That can't be good for your back.
Yeah, whatever four-wheeler that was, that's a great marketing campaign if they're clever enough to do something with it.
Yeah, they do need to do something with that. That one cracked me up. Trump is asking the Supreme Court for an emergency stay on, what's going on with so many of these judges. In particular, the ruling of rehiring all these federal employees immediately. So that will continue to work its way through the courts. A report that I don't love, and again, we'll get into the details of all these things coming up. B-2 stealth bombers headed to the Middle East en masse. It's a powerful piece of equipment. As Trump would say, very powerful. Is the U.S. preparing for an attack on Iran? Is the question. I think that would be ill-advised, in my humble opinion. I don't mind boxing in the Iranians. I don't mind telling the Houthis to stop shooting at international shipping and our naval vessels through the straits there. I don't mind the sanctions regime, but I think doing a full-on operation to bomb into the mountains Iran's nuclear facilities, my question would be, I think we could do it, but then I would be like, then what?
This is a
then what?
Somewhat dumb question. I'm going to go ahead and preface. The general that we assassinated, I guess, about 2 years ago now, have they gotten their revenge yet for that? Have they performed their act that is supposed to be, their payback specific to that.
Right.
I mean, I'm just saying this might just be they might have caught some intel, and this just might be a deterrent. Like, now's not your time to try to take your revenge.
As we head to Alabama, the top story at 1819news.com, Elon Musk Doge cancels $240 million in federal grants to the Alabama Departments of Public Health and Mental Health. Oh, say it ain't so. Oh. I want Doge to cut more of these contracts in Alabama. Why? Because you're cruel and you're a fascist? No, for the common good.
So
y'all need to understand that we're a society, people, and you just can't have more and more government spending. In fact, we need to right-size government, and y'all are being selfish by not understanding the public service and the march for the common good that Doge is trying to perpetuate around the nation and in this great state of Alabama.
There's a joke. There's a joke in there about Ivy's administration removing Musk somehow through supreme authority.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Supreme executive?
Yeah, somewhere.
And I'm wondering, because I got so excited about all the news going on today, if this is our regular Thursday calling guest, is this Erica Thomas?
Oh, no, this is not Erica Thomas.
This is the opposite.
Do you identify as Erica Thomas today?
No, no, Erica Thomas.
Nope.
You guys doing okay today?
Doing well, sir.
Sure are, Pedro.
Joey, when an executive officer or politician, is elected as on the executive branch, do they not hold to the side or put in some sort of trust their mutual funds, bonds, stocks, etc.?
Yeah, they have to put it into a blind trust.
Okay. Now, do we want Vance going out there heading a group, taking over TikTok or any other such so-called social media entity? I mean, is that a good idea? Doesn't that create the illusion of, what is the phrase? Conflict of interest?
No, I don't know if it's actually, I think Vance is more leading these folks. He's not the one actually signing the checks and inking the deal. He's sort of midwifing the deal.
Well, still, do we want his fingerprints on that?
Well, it's a good question.
I mean, let's say...
But that's kind of his background, and also the very thing that Trump's the one who set up this dynamic. He's saying, I want the U.S. to have essentially a piece in this, a stake in this.
But why buy TikTok or be concerned about it at all? Why not develop a competing platform and just let the market kind of sort it out
that's a
that
good
way?
Question.
Well, since TikTok is held by the Chinese, and we're not talking about Chinese companies here, we understand that the Chinese they're ruled by the communists, whether it's a company or any other rouge that may be. So do we want them willy-nilly going all over this country, taking videos? And I mean, I've seen people take them in their front yard, okay? And it's on TikTok, which again is owned by the Chinese.
But that's why they're doing this deal, because it would sell most components of TikTok to U.S.-backed interest. Here, let me read it. This is a scoop from Charlie Gasparino. J.D. Vance, an investor group eyeing next week to announce TikTok U.S. deal to prevent April 5th ban of the popular app under the Espionage Act. Announcement likely to include a grace period to put finishing touches on deal designed to keep TikTok ban from taking effect. GOP senators who oppose the deal are deferring to White House on matters despite continued concerns that it could violate the law. Deal could allow Chinese parent company ByteDance to maintain small equity piece in new company. Current algorithm remains in new company, and Vance working to assuage fears from equity players that Chinese-built algo violates law. Some equity holders still want to build a new algorithm. Oracle is to play a major role in storing the data. U.S. equity holders in current company will maintain controlling stake. So essentially, Vance is the one, like I said, midwifing this. He's getting all these different equity holders to come in. And then there is a question on the technology side. Do we need a brand new algorithm? And it does look like we're going to have a U.S. interest in where all the data is stored, not a Chinese one.
Okay, well, there was 2 words in that concerned me more than anything else. Stored data.
Yeah.
Okay, the purpose of storing data is for future usage.
Yes.
All right. Now, future usage by who and for what?
I mean, the way these
right
algorithms
now,
and
those of us on the right are happy. We're kicking our heels together because the Lord put our man in there. But who's to say how long our man is going to be there, and what is going to be done? What's going to be done when the tables are turned ultimately?
Right, but the way these entire apps work is by storing this info. And in fact, the algorithms are kind of built on all this information. And it's not just TikTok, it's every digital app and service is storing data and often selling data. This is how you get a lot of the targeted ads, for instance, in your feed. It's reading what you're looking at in your particular algorithm, and it's providing you buying opportunities.
Is that
exactly? And that's where they push us in the direction that they want us to go, whether we really need to go there or not.
Sure. I think competition, though, is the best thing for this. To where
that's fair, but when you say competition, I know you're thinking of the so-called free market economy, which has never really existed.
Not in a long time.
And then when you go and you do a little more research, and you look into those people that are, the World Economic Forum.
Yeah.
And some of their pieces where they're throwing away the idea of free will because human beings can be hacked, quote unquote.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you've heard that, right, Joe?
Yeah, I've written about it.
Okay. Well,
I'm saying not just competition in a pure free market laissez-faire sense. I'm saying just competition in general, that you have multiple apps in the way you'll have multiple artificial intelligence companies that are having to compete, and people do have the choice to choose between the different apps, depending on whether you like the service or whatnot. The larger question, Byron and we've talked about this. Byron's got an idea to where the people should be paid a dividend, essentially, for the usage of their data by all these companies and by the government.
I mean, if everybody's making money hand over fist off all our personal data, the fact that we don't get any revenue in return for it is stupid to me.
That's the really nefarious part?
Well, it's the stupid part.
Or the part that concerns you the most?
Well, selfishly, I'm a little upset that people are making money off my data and I don't get anything back for it.
Okay, well,
that's just me being selfish.
But I mean, I'm trying to get to the root of what you're getting at, James, because there have been systems of control most of human history, and you're never going to have like pure freedom, and that probably is ill-advised. Though some days I wonder.
I mean,
especially for those of us over 60.
Why would they not have 100%? Like, I don't understand why, if they're going to engage in this and it's to get rid of the Chinese influence at all, why are they going to have any stake or be allowed to have any stake in it? It seems like it would be a pre-grab.
I don't think from just the outlines of this, the U.S. government will have a direct stake.
No, I was talking about ByteDance, the Chinese. Have a small.
Well, that I don't know off the top of my head.
Back to the original question was whether or not it's a good idea for Vance or any other politician to be heading a group to take over any kind of social media because of the presumed conflict of interest.
Yeah, but Vance wouldn't be making money off this. Vance is essentially the point guy at the federal level who's trying to bring the equity shareholders together while helping them comply with the new U.S. law that might ban this.
What you're telling me is he's recruiting the money, not necessarily spending it.
Right. In the same way Trump's been recruiting all these AI companies, and he's, does these press conferences saying, or what, SoftBank is investing this much, Apple is investing this much, Hyundai's investing this much.
This isn't a bailout. This is not.
This is why Simple James doesn't have a cell phone, so he's not concerned about the apps.
Well, it must be pleasant, actually.
I'm not so sure. Tell me something, Joey. You don't strike me as the type to go out in the woods on a 4-wheeler.
Not recently, no.
Okay. All right.
Spent plenty of time over in Ada, though, when I was a teenager. We did a lot of that.
Ada. Line that up for me. Where exactly is Ada?
Over that Stone's Throw, over that way. I think west of the city.
West of the city. I've been through there a couple of times, but I can't peg it. Joey, I appreciate the time. And you gentlemen have a nice week. And as they say in old England, ta-ta.
Go Braves.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember directions because I hadn't been out there in a little while.
I love communities like that.
Like Hope Hole. Like, that's what I'm kind of thinking.
There's a community, if you go to, like, the Wiregrass, we getting broken into by robbers cutting through the
No, the renovations have begun. There's going to be more and more odd sounds, folks, above us, behind us, and whatnot, because the building we're in, there are some major renovations about to happen. It won't affect us here on News Talk directly, but there's going to be a lot of different changes. But if somebody falls through the ceiling and falls on top of me and all this lovely equipment, I'm going to be very upset.
That's going to be primetime radio right there, buddy.
Right. Now, I hadn't been out just in the woods camping in ages.
Last time I went camping, probably about 3-4 years ago. It was during COVID.
Last time I went camping, what's the private island where they shot big fish?
Shoot. Why did you ask me?
But you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, where the town of Spectre, you still see the sets a little bit. Yeah, I did some probably 3-4 years ago. Went out there with some buddies. We had some fun.
Oh, man, I love finding a good sandbar on the river.
Oh, yeah, no, and we set up tents, all our own personal tent. Thank God. I don't want to share a family tent with a roommate. That's just odd.
Yeah.
That's kind of like William B. camping. He's like, you want to go camping, son? I'm like, nope, I want my own tent.
I did not join the Boy Scouts for that reason.
Right,
No.
exactly. Though I was part of talk about dated and not politically correct or whatever. I think it was Indian Guides. It was like the Boy Scouts, but we did like here, make some moccasins or something, son.
That would have flown well today. I'd love to see a protest over that.
Yeah, you can do some art that's kind of that style. I'm like, this is, even as a kid, I'm like, this is not genuine. 272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by Josh and Leslie Ryder there at Dillon Rings. And of course, they are a full service jewelry shop at Dillon Rings. They can help you across the board from that amazing selection that Leslie puts together, high end to everyday jewelry. And of course, repair work, spa treatments, custom design work by Josh. They really do it all. Appraisals, if you can think of anything when it comes to jewelry service, they got you covered there at Dillon Rings. And if you go to their Facebook page today, it's just Dillon Rings on Facebook, DYLAN Rings. We're looking at a natural gemstone called bicolor citrine or citrine. Bicolor citrine. This particular gem has a dark chocolate and a pale yellow color in the same gem crystal. The gem cutter and then cut so both colors would be equal. Citrine was known as the philosopher's stone. Oh. Which was a stone with the solution to all questions of the universe present in it. But you got to know what questions to ask, right? This custom-made one-of-a-kind pendant is available right now for purchase there at Dillon Rings. So if you want to go check it out on the Book of Faces, just look up Dillon Rings and bicolor citrine, a philosopher's stone. It really is unique. So if you're looking for something beautiful and unique, stop by Dillon Rings like right now before somebody else snatches it up. We'll tell you a little more about Dillon Rings coming up in the show. But in the meantime, maybe you can beat me before I mention them again. Go by 119 Brown Springs Road, right here in Montgomery, just off of Atlanta Highway, sort of the back-end entrance to the AUM complex where the old fun zone used to be. And be sure to tell them that Joey and Byron, those fellas on the radio, sent you. We'll be right back. It sounds like they're sawing something again, like right above us. Okay, this is unnerving.
It's going to be like a comic book.
That or somebody's summoning the beast of two backs up there and having a good old time. And I think it's just, some handyman sawing something. We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, But whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
For over 40 years, Headley Plumbing has been fixing the River Region's plumbing problems with fast, affordable service. The pros at Headley are ready to respond anytime you need help, and they charge fair rates for their expert service. They help River Region homes and businesses every day, from repairing leaky faucets, septic tank service, replacing damaged sewer lines, or just unstopping a blocked drain. Trust the experts at Headley Plumbing. Call 285-3667. Headley Plumbing, 285-3667. Remember Headley's motto, in our business, a flush beats a full house.
Headley Metal Buildings has been your source for quality metal buildings in the River Region since 2007. Carports up to 24 feet wide, RV covers, storage buildings, even a sturdy metal barn up to 54 feet wide. Your structure can be customized, installed on level ground, and comes with a 20-year warranty. Let Headley Metal Buildings help you find the perfect solution. Financing available. Call 285-3667 for details or find Headley Metal Buildings on Facebook.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage. For years, I've been asking you to call me at Alabama Home Mortgage because there is a difference in mortgage companies. Did you know the current national average turn time to close on a mortgage is 48 business days? But not at Alabama Home Mortgage. At Alabama Home Mortgage, our average close time is 16 business days. That's a month faster than the rest. How do we do it? With over 60 years of combined experience in the industry. Our team knows mortgages. Our years of experience yield a better experience for our customers. Folks, time is money. Whether you're looking to buy or refi, don't waste time with another mortgage company, bank, or credit union. We close on time, every time. Give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time. Our fast turn time is just one difference that sets us apart from the rest. It's not just a slogan. Call Alabama Home Mortgage because there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586368, Equal Housing Lender.
We all want access to care and coverage we need to stay healthy, but Farm Bureau health plans aren't the answer. They are unregulated and unreliable when it comes to covering you and your family. If you have cancer or another pre-existing condition, well, you'd be out of luck. Alabama deserves better than empty promises. Call your state legislator now and tell them to vote no on Farm Bureau health plans. Visit fightcancer.org/Alabama. It's time for real health insurance.
Paid for by the American Cancer Society Cancer Action Network.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Pestruccelli, General Sales Manager and co-owner of Blue Water Broadcasting. For over 21 years, Blue Water Broadcasting has been a proud part of the River Region. We're not just a company, we're your neighbors. Our owners, air staff, account executives, and support team all live right here. We believe in this community, and we stand by our slogan, Blue Water Broadcasting, local folks helping local business.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason. The Wall Street roller coaster ride continues after President Trump announced he will slap 25% tariffs on imported cars and car parts. The president says he's raising duties on auto imports to encourage more production to relocate to the U.S. In pre-market trading, General Motors shares sank 6.8%. Ford narrowed its losses to less than 1% after being down more than 3% overnight. Chinese automakers and parts manufacturers have been expanding their sales worldwide, but not in the United States. So any impact from the tariffs announcement will be minimal. Unemployment applications held steady last week. The government reports jobless claims filings ticked down by 1,000, falling to 224,000. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network is brought to you by Earnest Financial.
If you're tired of losing your money in the stock market, call David Earnest, 334-279-7431. Earnest Financial, LLC.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Our storm-free pattern continues for a couple of more days, and our warm pattern will continue right on through the weekend. Today's a good day with a good bit of sunshine. Warm today and tomorrow with a high in the lower 80s both days. Sunshine will be limited on Friday. Scattered showers and thunderstorms start popping up Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening. That's disturbance number 1. Mid-80s on Sunday, and then the main event, I think, could be early in the day Monday, maybe even starting pre-dawn perhaps. It's a severe weather event, including the threat of tornadoes. But we still have a few days to watch that. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Live local talk. The River Region's only 24-hour News Talk FM station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Stop playing with it. Joey Clark.
Welcome back. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. Now, I want to review a little bit of this NPR hearing that went down yesterday. This is Catherine Mayer who was there, and she's the one we played the clip a while ago when it came back, gave the TED Talk, where it's like, it's not really the search for truth that matters. It's more how do we build consensus? And our emphasis on the truth holds us back.
The collective truth.
Mm-hmm. That's like one of the, I wouldn't even say dumb, I would say nefarious things I've heard in a while. Because there are a lot of people who believe, well, the truth doesn't matter. It's just what we can get the majority of powerful institutions and folks out there to buy as true.
Well, I just love that we have to rebrand truth to include all sorts of nonsensical things now that we all know.
Well, and she's like, you have your truth, Byron. I have my truth, right? As Joey, because we're all looking at the same objective facts with our own subjective feelings, and thus there's no one singular truth. I'm like,
yeah, your truth doesn't matter. It's just our truth that matters.
Yeah. Okay. Here is this woman that we're describing here.
That's a woman
being. Right there? Yeah, that's a woman. I mean, are you questioning?
Looks like that actor Michael Shannon.
Yeah, a little bit. They do favor one another.
Some ferocious eyebrows.
Yeah, and very severe features. Not necessarily in an awful way, just severe.
Gnaw your arm off in the morning.
But let's listen in. This is her, being grilled by Congressman Jim Jordan.
The former senior business editor for NPR.
How long do you work at NPR?
I believe he was there just over 25 years.
25 years? Award-winning journalist? Did he win any awards?
Our time to
Peabody Award? That's pretty important, isn't it?
That is, absolutely.
So pretty distinguished journalist, right?
Certainly.
And he wrote a long story about what you do at NPR. Is NPR biased?
Congressman, I have never seen any instance of political bias determining editorial decisions. No.
Well, Mr. Berliner, in his story last year, wrote, in the DC area, editorial positions at NPR, he said he found 87 registered Democrats, 0 Republicans. Is that accurate?
We do not track the numbers or the voter registration, but I find that
was award-winning journalist who worked 25 years at NPR, Mr. Berliner, was he lying when he wrote that?
I
remember all this.
Presuming such. I just we don't track that information about our.
This is by the way, we're going to keep going with this. This is one of my favorite things I've seen the Republicans in Congress do in a long time, because I remember all these stories. I remember that 25, 26-year guy who's like, okay, I don't remember this place.
Mm-hmm.
Like the NPR used to work with, like what the heck has happened? And you see this with other institutions too, where it's these graybeards who are like, what happened to my place?
To me, she kind of halfway cracked up a little bit when she was like, no, I've never heard any sort of political, leanings on editorial decisions or whatever it was she said. She kind of chuckled right there at the beginning of it.
But I love that, like, you're seeing them not let this story go away. Like, oh no. And usually it doesn't matter. Like the New York Times, as far as we know, doesn't get federal dollars. Maybe they're getting some of those like super duper subscriptions being paid for by the federal government. But like NPR gets a direct subsidy to be NPR. And in fact, you saw Democrats yesterday going, is Elmo a communist or not? And they're like, and number one, I'm in the mood, and I bet a lot of Americans are in the mood, is pay for your own stupid, creepy puppets. If you want a creepy puppet show to try to teach your kids values, pay for it yourself. Well, it's Big Bird. You're going to take away Big Bird? Yeah, because that's all that we're talking about here. And yes, I'm in the mood of screw Big Bird. If you want me to pay for Big Bird, I don't want any Big Bird. You can pay for Big Bird yourself. You can pay for the Cookie Monster yourself and the Count and Bert and Ernie and all of them. I don't want to pay for any of your stupid puppet. I might pay for the Grouch, though. The Grouch is my spirit animal.
You don't have to. They can pay for themselves. We've been paying for this. The brand should be there. If Sesame Street cannot stand on its own,
you make a good point. Yes.
Then we need to just pack it up and throw it in.
Sorry, I just been holding that one back. I'm tired of you. They're going to take away our. Stop it. I don't want to pay for your stupid puppets anymore.
If Big Bird can't turn a profit now, he needs to retire.
Yeah. But here, let's keep going with Catherine Mayer of NPR.
Journalist.
87-0, and you're not biased.
I think that is concerning if those numbers are accurate.
It's concern. I mean, it wasn't 44-43. It wasn't 60-27. It wasn't 70-17. It wasn't even 80-7.
Man, look at
it was
math
87
whiz.
Democrats,
round numbers.
0 Republicans, and you say NPR is not biased. How about the big stories over the last few years? According to Mr. Berliner, again, he wrote on the Trump-Russia story, he wrote, at NPR, we hitched our wagon to Trump's most visible antagonist, Representative Adam Schiff. He said they interviewed him 25 times. Is that accurate?
I was not there at the time, but those numbers sound accurate. Yeah.
Those sound accurate. But then he said when the Mueller report came out and they said, Robert Mueller said he found no evidence of collusion. He said, Russiagate faded from our programming. Is that accurate?
Again, I was not there at the time. I couldn't say.
You couldn't say?
I was not at NPR at the time.
You didn't prepare for that? You knew we were going to ask you about this guy, didn't you? It's come up like 6,000 times already in the hearing.
I just couldn't say whether it faded from our coverage, sir.
How about this story? October 2020, the New York Post had the Hunter Biden laptop story, and one of those editors, I guess one of those 87 Democrat editors, said this: we don't want to waste our time on stories that are not really stories. We don't want to waste the listeners' and readers' times on stories that are just pure distractions. Was that a pure distraction story?
Our current editorial leadership believes that that was a mistake, as do I.
Yeah, the whole country knows that was a mistake. Definitely impacted the election, or I think it certainly impacted the election. How about the COVID origin story? That's a pretty big story too, right? Mr. Berliner said, we became fervent members of the team Natural Origin, even declaring that the lab leak was debunked by scientists. Turns out, though, the lab leak is what most people think actually caused the COVID virus.
Sorry, is there a question there?
There is. You guys were 0 for 3 on the three of the biggest stories in the last 5 years. You guys were 0 for 3, and yet you maintain that NPR is not biased?
Congressman, I do not believe we are politically biased. No, we are a nonpartisan organization.
Wow. We're just bad journalists.
No, and that's the term they love to use. All these institutions in Alabama, too, that are now finally you're seeing some folks run for local boards or get appointed to local boards, and they're changing to the cultural, like the libraries and stuff. Everybody's like, I'm a nonpartisan professional. I went to school for this. And it's like, you're not nonpartisan, number one. And you're not non-political as a bureaucrat, because how do you get your money? You get your money by the political means. You can get money by the economic means. You could produce something and trade it, or you maybe get lucky and somebody gifts money to you, which maybe could be NPR gets a lot of their money from donations, right? Just stick to that. But when you start getting your money by the political means, like taking it from other people, yes, legally and legitimately, because we need taxes in order for things to work. Say the people who live off taking taxes. If you take your money by the political means, you are inherently political, not maybe in your person and your soul and your heart and even your opinions. But the thing that feathers your nest is other people's money.
All right. So how long does the outsider get to run as an outsider before they have to claim that they're, I'm not a politician? Well, you signed up to run, so technically now you're a politician.
Right. Well, I love how Trump treated that, where he's like, I'm not, well, I guess I am now. And he's kind of just winking and stuff. Like Tuberville's the same way. Like Tuberville doesn't strike me as the usual politician, but how long can you be in the Senate and not be a politician?
Well, I mean, I would joke with candidates that I've been with, traveling for extended periods of time, be on the road for 9 months, and here, I'm not a politician. Like, well, I've heard you say that at 500 events with a lot of voters. So can we stop saying that?
Well, and especially when you say it in like a very political way. Yeah. I'm not a politician. That's why all these other guys shouldn't be in power, and I should. It's like, that's an incredibly political statement.
Just be honest. I wasn't a politician, but I'm running now.
Well, you see this all the time. It's been a bee in my bonnet for years now, where it's like the other side is acting politically.
Yeah.
It's like a doctor saying that other hospital across town, all they do is practice medicine over there. How awful. And it's like, huh?
These are the same people that will also tell you that, there's church politics and politics in Little League baseball,
right?
But they're not political.
Well, and politics always has that negative connotation. Mm-hmm. He's engaged in politics. We're just trying to have some fun with the sports ball. And
he's political.
He's He's making everything political. That chatty Cathy, that gossip queen. And then, well, what do you think of democracy? Oh, democracy is like, we should die for it. We should bleed for it. We should conquer the whole world for democracy. And you're like, well, how do you have a democracy without politics?
Well, you definitely don't talk about it.
Mm.
No.
Mm-hmm. And that's what's so amazing. It's like literally the blood surging through the body of democracy is politics.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have democracy without politics. Yet one is hailed as like the new god, democracy. And there are literally people that treat it like a new god. And then those same people are like, but politics is so awful.
Mental health is
crazy.
Is definitely an issue with a lot of people, and unfortunately, most of those people do find politics.
Yeah, it is true. We got more. One of my favorite guys. Do you know Tim Burchett, the guy from Tennessee? I like that guy a lot. He's just fantastic. But before we get to the next clip here, this part of the program brought to you by Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group. And there at the Goodson Group, Bo and his team are ready to help you, whether you're looking to buy or sell here in the Montgomery and surrounding areas. Of course, I'm talking about buying or selling that home of yours. Or maybe you're looking to convert that home you own into a rental investment. Have it perform as an asset. It's not where you live. You just rent it out to folks. But doing that could be a pain in the butt to manage it yourself. Like if you have no experience in managing a rental, you probably want to call up the Goodson Group, and for a reasonable fee, they'll manage it for you. And then the crown jewel there at the Goodson Group is the Bo Goodson Real Estate School, one of the most highly acclaimed real estate programs here in the great state of Alabama. Because of Bo's nearly 50 plus years of experience, he's been through it all. Like he's seen it all. And he's teaching you that experience direct so you can hit the ground running and find success immediately. And the proof is all the folks that have graduated from the Bo Goodson Real Estate School and hit the ground running very quickly as more knowledgeable private players. Maybe you want to go to the Bo Goodson School to learn how to manage a rental property. Or maybe you want to be a fully licensed real estate agent. They can help you do that there at the Bo Goodson Real Estate School. So you'll check out the Goodson Group today. You can always go to thegoodsongroup.com or give them a call at 551-0225. That's 551-0225. Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group. Great sponsor here of the program. So now this is a shorter clip, but I do want to go to Tim Burchett of Tennessee. And this guy's dry in a way only a Southern gentleman can be. Actually, this isn't as short as I thought. It's 4 minutes, which I'm happy with because I got a feeling, well, some are saying he dismantled Catherine Mayer. That seems a little over the top, but let's judge for ourselves, shall we?
There's no bias on NPR.
That is not a
that is not a biased statement, ma'am. That is not even both parties wrap themselves around this song every time there's a national conflict. Lee Greenwood sings it and he does a beautiful job, but you say there is no bias in NPR.
That is that individual's opinion, and she of course is entitled to it, but that is not the position of NPR.
Ma'am, you said in your opening statement that you were going to be transformative. And I believe you failed to do that. Let me ask you, why did you call President Trump a fascist and a deranged racist sociopath in 2020?
Congressman, I appreciate the opportunity to address this. I regret those tweets. I would not tweet them again today. They represented a time where I was reflecting on something that I believe that the president had said rather than who he is. I don't presume that anyone is a racist.
Oh my God, that is like the most white woman thing I've ever heard. Like I called somebody a fascist and an unhinged unrepentant, just damn dirty racist. In 2020, it's like, ma'am, why'd you say those things? Well, I was going through some reflection, and now I don't presume anybody a racist. Like, really? You just meditated it away? You go to some shaman who sold you a bunch of like salt water he claimed was spiritual, and you, after crapping your brains out, you're all of a sudden like, well, I'm not going to presume people that are my political opponents racist because I'm now in a new position. Anyway, let's keep going.
Which you don't believe anyone is a racist?
I don't start by presuming anyone is a racist, sir.
Okay.
That's a pretty good standard.
Has NPR or PBS ever conducted an internal review to assess whether conservative or right-leaning perspectives are fairly representative news and programming?
Congressman, what we look at is the distribution of people who listen to our work, and we can tell you, and I'm proud to tell you that for our digital, our podcasts and our website, the distribution of Americans who come to NPR does reflect the political distribution of the nation. In fact, the distribution on our websites, 33% of folks who come are conservative versus 28% who are liberal, and the rest identify as independent.
Oh, give me a break. Seriously?
So I had to find a media chart that has sort of the bias, according to someone, just to see where they have NPR.
Yeah.
Skews left.
Oh, yeah, you think?
A little bit. But it's interesting to see like where they fall in comparison to like the New Yorker, CNN, all that sort of stuff.
And so 80 million, almost 90 million people vote for Donald Trump. And, most of them, well, I love watching Rogan and I love checking in on the X platform. And I'm always looking at like Bongino's website and Citizen Free Press and all. But let me just, for the sake of things, check out NPR. I just don't buy it.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's keep going.
Largest group is conservatives who come to NPR's websites.
So you believe that most Americans think President Trump is a fascist and a deranged racist sociopath?
I don't believe that at all, sir.
Okay. Ma'am?
We obviously are constantly looking at the voices that we bring forward. We take to heart our commitment to bringing forward perspectives from across the country. Mm-hmm. Our programming comes from our local stations. And I mentioned in my opening comment the series that we did out of Arkansas, Southern Storytellers. That's just one little example. 10% of our schedule is news. The rest of it is either children's programming or programming based on history to give us all a collective expression. And we're constantly looking to making sure that we're bringing forward a diversity of viewpoints and perspectives and experiences that really do make up the fabric of this country.
Okay. NPR senior editor Early Leonard, it's been mentioned before, but he was quoted as saying an open-minded spirit no longer exists within NPR, and now, predictably, we don't have an audience that reflects America. Yet you stated that the audience does reflect America. He was suspended without pay for 5 days for saying this, and of course, he eventually resigned in April 2024. You've also stated that federal funding is essential for NPR to operate, but also claim only 1% of your funding comes from the federal government. Which is it?
Mr. Berliner was suspended for the outside work policy, not for what he said, sir. In terms of federal funding, the federal funds go to support our operation of the public radio satellite system, which enables all of our local stations to be able to communicate information and broadcast, including...
As stated earlier, ma'am, funding is very fungible. It flows wherever it needs to.
Right.
I don't buy that argument.
We do have
I
a
wonder
separate
if any of the
balance sheet
members
for
of
that,
the
sir.
committee would comment real quickly. Would you agree that Real America's Voice, Newsmax, Fox, or News Nation, if they were to see federal funds, would you all support that? Yes or no?
One
Mr.
guy's
Ullman?
shaking his head.
Yes or no?
I'd have to get back to you on that.
You coward! You namby-pamby. Let's hear the other side.
Yeah, I actually don't have an opinion about that.
Oh, right.
I don't have an opinion about that, sir. That would be Congress's decision.
Thank you, Chair Leggett.
You are such weenies. All of you. All of you.
Wait, would they be taken from our money, or would that just be somebody else?
No, all the the head of NPR doesn't have an opinion on whether or not Steve Bannon and War Room should get federal funding. Give me a break.
The guy who was like, "I'm going to have to get back to you on that." I'm just like,
Now, the one guy with the nice goatee and the bald head,
Yeah,
he at least shook his head like, no.
But yeah, so listen, that chart that I was telling you about
Yeah,
that I was
yeah.
peeping real quick, the most concerning part is just the number of outlets that are just straight opinion and people take them as news. That's no surprise.
Oh, yeah.
But I sent it to you whenever you get a chance, just, go through it. But it's.
No, and like, I don't want federal funding. Like, we're an opinion show. I'm a commentator.
I'm not even counting on Social Security, Joey. I'm not counting on any federal funding, man.
Right. And if it only makes up 1%, you don't need it.
Exactly. Like I was saying.
So much of this.
Big Bird can stand on his own.
Yes.
He's had time to fly.
Yes.
He may not be able to, but he's had time to learn.
Well, we all know about Elmo's cocaine habit back in the day.
Well, apparently, snuffleupagus and, if you listen to Dave Chappelle, a lot of them had all kinds of problems, man.
Yeah, Elmo actually used to be kind of more of a lighter shade, like he was more pink. And then he just got into the white lady. And oh, look at the time. This part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And they're at Montgomery Men's Health. They're ready to help you fellas out, especially if you've been experiencing the symptoms that all point to low testosterone. And that, what could that be? A lack of energy, awful sleep patterns where you're just not getting good sleep. When you wake up, even after laying in bed for 8-10 hours, you feel tired, like exhausted as you go through your day. And it sort of grows on itself. It compounds on itself where you're just out of it physically and mentally. You're seeing unwanted weight gain, loss of muscle mass, a decrease in sex drive, no libido to speak of. Well, knowing whether you have low testosterone is huge in combating some of these issues. And the providers there at Montgomery Men's Health will conduct a testosterone-focused lab workup plus a consultation for only $99. And Montgomery Men's Health has low-T treatments that can truly change men's lives. Men after treatment can experience higher energy, better gains in the gym. Brother. That's right, brother. Better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, a faster metabolism, and you usually even notice an increased sex drive. And you can actually book the same day that you call, gentlemen. That number, 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com to book your appointment today. Second hour coming up.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi says the alleged leader of the MS-13 street gang on the East Coast has been arrested in Virginia. The 24-year-old man from El Salvador was described as one of MS-13's top 3 leaders in the United States. Bondi says it's a major victory in the Trump administration's effort to crack down on a gang that's known for brutal violence and extortion. Major pro-lifers gathering in the nation's capital to begin a lobbying effort with Congress and President Trump's administration aimed at eliminating funding for Planned Parenthood. Wall Street moving lower. That's after better than expected data on the economy was released earlier. The Dow dropping 193 points. The NASDAQ composite down 83. This is SRN News.
I don't really like working. I'm going to need a priority parking space. I only work remotely. How are your safe spaces? Can I bring my dog to work? Will your company protect me against microaggressions? You're triggering me. Is this interview almost over?
You don't run a daycare, you run a business. So why use high-priced recruitment agencies who charge you up to 40% of an employee's first-year salary? So they're focused on getting you the costly talent, not the best fit, which means you get more of this.
What's your policy on paying employees to attend protests? I demand 8 weeks of vacation. I need at least 12 weeks of paid vacation. I'm gonna need a lot of mental health days. Do you have a game room? My pronouns are Z's and Zir.
Isn't it time you hired grown-ups? Call redballoon.work and skip those high-priced recruitment agencies. Call 833-880-0600 for a free consultation. That's 833-880-0600 for a free consultation. redballoon.org.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by MPM Feed and Seed. It's time to get those gardens ready. From seeds to plants to fertilizer, MPM has what you need. Shop MPM Feed and Seed in Prattville, 1313 Highway 31 North. Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, Saturdays, 8 to 1.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Our storm-free pattern continues for a couple of more days, and our warm pattern will continue right on through the weekend. Today's a good day with a good bit of sunshine. Warm today and tomorrow with a high in the lower 80s both days. Sunshine will be limited on Friday. Scattered showers and thunderstorms start popping up Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening. That's disturbance number one. Mid-80s on Sunday, and then the main event, I think, could be early in the day Monday, maybe even starting pre-dawn perhaps. It's a severe weather event, including the threat of tornadoes. But we still have a few days to watch that. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
At CB&S Bank, we've been meeting the needs of our customers since 1906. Need help setting up new business goals? Our line of commercial loans can help you achieve them. dbsbank.com to find a location near you. All loans subject to credit approval, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, here's today's top stories. A man who had just robbed a Montgomery business was arrested after walking past police on the scene. The robbery happened Tuesday afternoon at the Chevron on Zelda Road, where 42-year-old Mose Tolliver allegedly threw a brick through the door and threatened to kill the clerk before running out with several alcoholic beverages. Tolliver was quickly apprehended when he failed to flee the scene. The driver of an 18-wheeler that crashed and overturned Tuesday morning in Montgomery has been identified. The wreck happened on I-85 southbound near the Ann Street exit. Police found the truck lying on its side, blocking several lanes of traffic, with 67-year-old Johnny Crenshaw of Pascagoula, Mississippi, dead inside the cab. The cause of Crenshaw's death remains under investigation. The Montgomery County Sheriff's Office is investigating a person's death on Interstate 85 Wednesday. The incident took place on I-85 at the Montgomery Outer Loop near the Wall Pike Road exit Wednesday afternoon. Sources indicate an unidentified man parked his vehicle atop the high overpass and jumped to his death. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Is your business feeling the heat of cyber attacks? Tired of worrying about ransomware, data breaches, downtime, and employee mistakes? GTI Managed IT Solutions has been your trusted partner since 1999, safeguarding and supporting businesses like yours from the ever-evolving threats in the digital world. GTI, your peace of mind is guaranteed. Call us today at 819-4650 or visit gtinow.com.
Since 1966, Alabama Sheriff's Youth Ranches has been more than just a place to stay. It's been a place to belong. For children facing hardships through no fault of their own, our ranches provide more than shelter. We offer a warm home, a loving family, and a future filled with hope. With open arms, we welcome these young hearts, giving them the love, structure, and guidance they need to heal, grow, and thrive in a warm Christian environment. Together, we can give Alabama's children the chance they deserve, a chance to dream, to succeed, and to feel truly cherished. Every donation stays within Alabama, directly impacting the lives of the children who need it most. Join us in making a difference. Visit alabamasheriffsyouthranches.org. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and download our app from your app store. We'd be honored to have you as a part of our mission to lift up Alabama's youth. And remember this, it's easier to build boys and girls than to repair men and women.
The 21st Annual Autism Crawfish Boil, benefiting Easter Seals of Central Alabama, is April 5th at Riverwalk Stadium. Proceeds from this fun family event benefit autism programs at Easter Seals of Central Alabama. Enjoy all-you-can-eat crawfish, live music, and even a baseball game. The Autism Crawfish Boil, April 5th at Riverwalk Stadium. Stay and eat or grab them and go. Scan or visit mudbugball.com to purchase tickets and get info on curbside pickup.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's Conversational Radio Show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. It's News and Views in the afternoon. Byron Sheehy here in the studio with me today. Appreciate the time as always, Byron.
Glad to be here, buddy.
And we just got some breaking news. Somebody called in. I don't have many details, but I think I have enough. You know, the WA exit off 85 there has apparently been a shooting at the Circle K right there. After you get off the WA exit, there's a service road. I know the area well. And that's awful, but I believe they've got kind of traffic, especially right around the scene, shut down.
Was anybody struck to your knowledge?
Sounds like it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Heard.
Yeah, I don't think they would be shutting things down if that was not the case. Again, that was just called in. I don't have a lot of details. But especially if you're on 85 around WA, it might start to cause a backup onto the interstate. So we shall see. Hate hearing that.
What are we up to now this year so far?
If you did the whole area, like you included that and Montgomery City proper and Millbrook and Prattville and all, I don't know. I haven't looked at the stats. I haven't even tried to put them together. I mean, there are a lot where you're like, well, that just shouldn't happen. Then there are ones that get a lot of headlines, like, of course, the Jim Massey incident. You've heard about that before.
Oh, yeah, of course. I've read something this morning on Facebook. Someone redacted, the person's name, but a business owner, one of their employees was apparently like driving to a job site.
Yeah.
A contractor here in town, and their work vehicle was fired on.
I saw photos of that. Yes.
I mean,
and you could see bullet holes in the actual seat of the truck.
The thing that I read said that the assailant was apparently like waving the gun at the person, threatening them. And I mean, like, this is our city that we live in. Come on now.
Well, one of the things that's going to happen eventually is one of those guys is going to go up to a truck or a car and they're going to get their head blown off.
100%.
No, and I don't want to go on a whole rant about the city at this moment, but I do know for a fact that we're not at the force levels we need. We really aren't. We had Counselor Szymanski in the other day. I think in order to help recruitment, we'll finance, essentially give you an amazing deal to own a home. So you have a stake in the community, you stay here. But in the pay raises, again, good thing. But I don't think it's necessarily a money thing at this point. I believe David Thrasher in the email he sends out to people has been echoing this. It's a common sentiment. It has to do with not just leadership in the sense of the new chief, Jim Gray boys. There are a lot of folks like, I don't want to work for this mayor because if I make a mistake or I'm even perceived of making a mistake, I'm going to be thrown under the bus.
Right.
And of course, the mayor will dispute that. But I don't know. We're through. This is the third chief.
Third time's a charm.
Yep.
Or fourth time.
And there are a lot of, say, other areas, and you could say, oh, well, working for the sheriff's office is so much easier than working in a city environment. And maybe, but
look, man,
I think it's beyond just like, oh, it's an easier beat.
Yeah, I'm not going to say any of it's easy. I'm not going to say this is easy or that's easy.
Right. And now, of course, the reason things have somewhat settled down in the last year or so is this metro area crime suppression unit. And I think the sheriff's department, police department, but Aaliyah and the attorney general and folks getting this all together, it looks like the state legislature is going to fund this more or provide more resources for this sort of thing, especially so they can recreate in, say, Birmingham, which is spending a little time in Birmingham. That is, Montgomery's still got that small town feel.
Oh, Montgomery's the biggest small town I know.
Right.
Man.
Whereas Birmingham, that's proper city.
Oh, it is
and
a city.
that you're going to need resources, even if you do have the state and, say, county law enforcement helping out city forces. But I think a lot of this is also the consequence of national issues. It's why I brought it up with the mayor. It's why I wrote that op-ed the other day about the BLM thing downtown. And I know a lot of folks think, oh, if you don't like BLM, you just don't care for the interest of black folks, and we're going to think the worst about you. No, when I look back at that so-called summer of love, I think the fallout from that was immense, and not just the cost of property damage or the lives lost or people injured horribly. I mean, I think we're still, not just Montgomery, but many cities around the nation are still reeling from. A lot of folks go, well, then why the hell would I ever want to be a cop?
Hold on. I must have missed the summer of love. When was that?
Yeah, right.
I don't know, man. It just seems like if other places can get it right, same sort of demographics, same economic type situation.
Sure.
How do we get it wrong time and time and time again? And I'm saying we collectively.
Yes. Well, I think at this point, you just have low force levels, and you don't have the things that aren't about the dollars and cents, the things that aren't about like the incentive packages. It's more like, who are you working for? What is the sense of leadership? What's the reputation of that leadership? Not just here locally, but abroad. When somebody's working in some other department in a different state or a different city in this state or across the country, and they're looking for a change of life and pace, of course they're going to call up their fellow officers or fraternal order of police, or some group to be like, okay, I'm looking at, this is a great incentive package from Montgomery. I love the home deal. I love the, but what's the deal here?
Yeah. What's wrong? What's not adding up?
And honestly, if you ask me personally, how do you change that? I don't know, unless you elect a different mayor. And I suppose that's possible, but it's going to take somebody who actually has the talent and the backing and the financing and the trust of the community to run. Because I think, for better or for worse, there's a solid group of folks that are firmly backing Stephen Reed, and they have to be convinced otherwise.
Do you think that if we went to a more I may have actually asked this on the show previously, but in I think it's Bibb County, Macon, Georgia area, that they have a more county focused government, and I don't even think the city really has many services like police, fire. It's all county wide. Is that something that Montgomery should consider?
Yeah, but that's something that most of your city leaders are going to push back against. And also, if you're the county commission, if you're the sheriff's department, that's a heck of a big change.
It is, but I mean, if the crime issue is not solved, then we're not.
Well, and some of this, I think that only happens if the state government, this being the seat of the state capital, really pushes it. I think that's the only way that happens. Because if it's up to just the city and the county, they ain't gonna move on.
If we lose the base, it's gonna be too late.
Well, of course.
Right. So I mean, let's be honest about the situation and just
we
look
ain't
for
losing
solutions.
a base.
It may turn into a cemetery.
Goodness gracious. I know that scares the crap out of people. The thing you just said scares the crap out of people. But again, it's not just the city proper. As we started this hour, shooting there off the wall exit. And as people sprawl out, they go to that Pike Road direction. They go to Millbrook. They go to Wetumpka. They go to Prattville. Trying to think other areas people go.
Away. In all directions.
All sorts of directions. No, I kind of like the folks that go to where it's like, we don't have a name here. It's just this is my land.
I'm going to, Byronville.
Right. We don't really have that. We got a volunteer fire department. Bobby's a great dude.
It's me, my dog, and my water hose.
Right. There's some folks doing that sort of life, and I think there's some of the best of us. Pretty self-sufficient. Well, obvious one that my own family's done this. Somebody just texted me Auburn. I think I know family members who lived here for decades. Their kids grew up here, went to school here, and as soon as their kids graduated, they went to Auburn. Well, in this case, they went to Auburn as the kid went to Auburn. So it was kind of a great thing.
Car school. I mean, carpool together.
Right. But there are a lot of folks that have made that move out of Montgomery to Auburn.
So there's your tax base gone. I mean, if people are moving.
Well, and of course, the city will argue, well, Auburn, for instance, their whole school system, they raise taxes and they got plenty of funding and they're doing all these great things. I think also Auburn, having the university there, gets a influx of, let's say, talent that other places don't. But I think Montgomery to say, oh, that's not fair is fake and false, because we have a huge influx of talent, especially with the military base. And we also have universities here that attract people.
Having talent come to Montgomery is not the problem.
Keeping it here.
Well, keeping it alive, partially.
Oh, no, and I've heard it from professional types. Especially, I've heard a lot of doctors, they come, they do a stint here, and they're like, I don't want to live there.
Oh, man, I've talked to people who
traveling nurses
across the country coming to the War College. How'd you like Montgomery? Never really went out that much.
Yeah.
Did my time and left.
See, and I'm a native son, and that's how I live at this point. You got me to go out the other night. That was a fun time in Cloverdale. Old Cougardale.
And when we say go out, we mean have dinner and be home by like 8:30.
It was 9.
Okay. It
was 9.
The midnight oil.
Yeah, we went to Leroy, went to the Chucks and stuff.
I think we went to Leroy twice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we got a nightcap in there. Yeah, I was like, just one more beer. Why not? I was channeling my inner Jack Campbell. One more. Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, Soda Boy.
Hey, man.
What's your favorite guest there?
Huh? My favorite guest? Don't be starting.
My favorite guest.
Oh,
No,
your
my
favorite.
guest.
Okay, you like Byron better than Eddie, better than Craig Munger.
No, they're all about the same level.
Oh.
Here's what's funny is the last time the mayor was on the show. I live in Montgomery, East Montgomery. Okay, I live in the hood. Okay,
What neighborhood in general?
In the neighborhood.
Oh, thanks.
Our gangs don't wear shirts or colors. We wear cardigan sweaters and turtlenecks during the winter time.
No, that's rough.
Yeah,
it is. Represent, baby. We all graduated from St. James and Montgomery, Academy. So don't mess with us, okay? Okay. Here's the thing. The interview was so interesting when I asked him a couple questions. First of all, even more so, with the gas tax gone up. Gas has always been cheaper, 4 or 5 cents cheaper in Wetumpka and Elmore County.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I work there, so I might as well just fill up while I'm there. I'm not going out of the way, okay? So I get my gas there. The Walmart there is a lot more friendlier employees, a lot more cleaner, So I do all my shopping there. So when I told him, I said, I'm shopping there in Prattville, and I'm shopping in Wetumpka and spending my tax money. Do you remember what he said? He said, that's your choice. I don't care. Now, when he told me those 3 famous words, I don't care, you're in the wrong job. You're in the wrong job. Because when you chase away your largest tax base, they've left and went to Pike Road. They've gone to Wetumpka. They've gone to Prattville, and like you said, and everywhere. They have gone. I don't know what I don't think he's going to use Montgomery for his own personal needs, and then he's going to move on. Because he has no intentions of staying here whatsoever. Because everything he's done.
Where is he going to go though?
Representative, maybe.
Private sector, man.
No, like number one, Shamari Figures, I think, is going to be the congressman in this district if we keep the district. The question of whether even this brand new District 2 still will exist next cycle is a question.
I think they probably will, and they're going to have to. If they are, they're going to have to do it a year before the primary. So we should see.
Now, Congressman Figures is pretty secure in that seat
right now as it exists. Yeah.
Yes. Now your guest is from 1819.
No.
Byron's just a free agent.
Yeah.
He's freelancing, huh?
Yeah.
I like that.
Underemployed.
Like that. Like a free agent in NFL. Man, you're a gun for hire.
I'd rather be playing baseball with their contracts, but yeah, we'll go with football.
Yeah. Has anybody got any of that information? They kept teasing us about the mayor's travel, receipts.
Nope, it's still being stonewalled, and that's something actually I'll bring up with him the next time he's on next month.
Have we gone to court with that or anything? I mean, he's a public official.
I don't know. Like
that's public tax money.
Hey, whenever you get him on, and I bet he just doesn't answer this. Ask him
answers.
Just ask him if any fundraisers coincidentally occurred on those trips that taxpayers funded.
You mean for Kamala?
For him.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because they only had to perform one official act of business for it to be, justified for the taxpayers to pay for it. And they can spend all the rest of their time doing whatever they want, i.e. raising money.
No, I don't know the latest. I'd make it kind of a policy of my own not to pry too much into the means and methods of 1819, even the folks I know like Craig. So I let them do their work. So.
Is Greg's the one that's doing the investigation, doing the requesting?
Craig Munger.
Craig? Mm-hmm. Not Greg. Craig?
Mm-hmm.
Craig and them.
Craig Munger.
Craig Munger and Caleb Taylor are the two reporters there that cover sort of the Montgomery area.
Are they being stonewalled?
Yes.
We guys laughing? Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked with Craig on the air about it some.
I thought it was a rhetorical question.
Yes.
Well, the reason why I asked, I mean, how long can this go on? It's injustice. I mean, how many times like my daddy's telling me, how many times do I have to tell you, son, to do something? How many times I need to ask you before I get an answer?
Well, tomorrow we should have Craig Munger on the show, so we could bring it up then. But I appreciate it. Yeah, he'll be on.
He could be on tomorrow? Okay.
Yeah. Usual Friday. Appreciate it, Soldier Boy. 272-9228. Kind of swerve there into hyper local. But we'll continue with all the headlines coming out in the national news in just a moment. Also, it's interesting what catches people's imaginations here in the state of Alabama. This is not trending at 1819 News. In fact, I've tried to write about this, and it seems a lot of folks are like, this overtime tax exemption. Like, they're just going to let it expire. And Caleb Taylor, who I just mentioned, has a report out, or he's reporting on the report. Alabama's overtime tax exemption, quote, has been a game changer for the state's frontline workers. This is according to the HR Digest. House Bill 217 by House Minority Leader Anthony Daniels, who we've had on the show a few times now, eliminated state income taxes on all overtime pay for Alabama hourly workers by excluding overtime or any hours worked above 40 hours a week from the state definition of gross pay. The legislation was passed with broad Republican and Democrat support during the 2023 session. The law has a sunset date of June 30th, 2025. The legislature would have to approve extending the program before the current legislative session ends for the tax exemption to continue beyond that date. Most income in Alabama is subject to a 5% state income tax. Some Republicans have complained about the exemption having a higher cost to the state's budget than initial estimates. But Anthony Daniels has argued the state is actually seeing increased revenue from higher economic activity from the overtime tax exemption. According to the HR Digest, Alabama was the first state to pass a state tax exemption on overtime pay. Alabama's pioneering move, quote unquote, has already shown a 5% increase in overtime volunteered. People volunteer and I'll work more. This is according to the outlet. I've picked up extra shifts without losing a massive chunk to taxes, mobile nurse Tammy Gaines told the outlet. It's $1,000 more a year for my family. This is where it's like, it's yelling and screaming at I'm going to do the trick. It's like talking, arguing until I'm blue in the face. Like, why? This is a red state, not a blue state. And I'm sorry, the fiscal note on this is all over the place. It could be over $500 million. I'm like, wait, so you want to you let people have this relief for a year? 2 years? A year? And you just take it away, and then to make it up, you go, well, we'll expand the income tax deduction, and we'll cut that final cent off, that final percentage off the grocery tax. which we already had planned on cutting if there was a certain indexing with the ETF. We're getting rid of the indexing. We'll just cut another % off. How about you do that and you keep the exemption?
I don't get it, man.
And I believe our budgets will be fine.
Oh, our budgets will be fine.
Like, how much surplus do we need year over year over year? And I get you want big reserves for bad times. Our reserves are overflowing.
Let the people have the reserves. Let the people keep the money in their pocket. I'm sorry, big government Republicans. You don't know how to spend my money better than me.
They're just Dixiecrats. I almost said something else. They're just Dixiecrats. It's what they are. Have been for a while. 272-9228. This is part of the program brought to you by James Cole and Cole Plumbing. Great guy there, and James Cole, fantastic sponsor here of the program. And he and the team there at Cole Plumbing can help you with any and all of your plumbing needs. It could be everyday stuff like clogged drain, low water pressure. Maybe you want to upgrade. Time for a new garbage disposal. Time for new accessories, say with the shower, or you want a taller toilet, a nicer one, want to install maybe a bidet, get real fancy, save some money on paper. Could be you got a big problem, like gas line leak or big water leak inside or outside their home or your home. They can help you with that. They're called plumbing, and they can do it without having to tear out a bunch of drywall, dig up a huge hole in your yard, making a big muddy mess inside or outside the home. No, they can do it with precision and expertise. They're really great folks there at Cold Plumbing. And maybe you don't really have an issue right now, but save their number. So when you do have a plumbing issue, you know to call. Again, that's Cold Plumbing, 279-8919. That's 279-8919. And just remember, folks, when you have trouble with your ball,
call on Cole.
Again, 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. That's 334-272-9228. I find it amazing in a state with Republican supermajority, where our governor runs for re-election. No way, Jose. No, step too high of a high step, but watch this granny shoot this gun. But we can't cut taxes. So we just play conservative?
Oh, we can raise taxes.
Yeah.
We can raise. Never met a sunset on a tax increase. Never met one there.
That's crazy.
You let something expire where they can collect some money, they'll let that one come.
It's just incredibly frustrating.
They'll let that one go.
At the end of the day. How about this as a palate cleanser? You know, our own United States Senator Katie Britt, she led with Kat McCormick, I think is the House side. It's like the Republican Women's Caucus. And I've talked to Senator Britt about this here on the show, that there are a lot of Democrats who still go, we're the party of women. And remember when Mark Cuban came out during the election and said there aren't any smart or intelligent or thoughtful women in the Republican?
Yeah.
And as I was having that conversation with Senator Britt, I'm like, off the top of my head, I can name not just you, but a lot of women in the House and the Senate.
Blackburn,
Marsha. I like Cynthia Lummis of Wyoming. And I mean, you can just go across the board with so many folks in the House. And they all met at the White House yesterday. They announced essentially the Republican Women's Caucus. And Trump was there talking about all this stuff. And so at one point, I think Trump started talking about IVF. And this is what he had to say.
We're going to have tremendous goodies in the bag for women too. The women, between the fertilization and all of the other things that we're talking about, it's going to be great. We're joined today. Fertilization. I'm still very.
I was
proud.
about to say he's so proud of himself right there.
I'll be known as the fertilization president.
Dude, this is the first time I've ever seen this man blush.
Yeah, it's a little bit. Here, let's back it up and just kind of rewatch it. Here.
It's going to be great. We're joined today. Fertilization.
Yeah, he is a little bashful about it.
I'm still very proud of it. I'll be known as the fertilization president. That's okay. That's not bad.
And like, hey, he's the Alabama Republicans, if I'm not mistaken, they're the ones who messed up where the national Republicans had to clean up the mess on this.
No, it wasn't even. I don't think you can blame the legislature for that. It was the court.
But the Alabama Republicans were the ones who jumped up and down and made a scene about it real quickly right after that. I mean, there was a handful of people who came out like, yeah, the court's got it right. And then the backlash happened.
Hey, it all kind of happened within a day or two, man. Like, I think you're right. There was some of that reaction, but the negative reaction was already starting as soon as that ruling came down.
It was lightning quick.
And I guess that's when you saw Senator Britt swoop in very quickly, working with Trump to be like, hey.
But I guess my point was, instead of having a rational, like, is this good? Some Alabama Republicans were first or wanted to be first to the scene
because they believe it's a principled matter. But
I'm still very proud of it. I don't care. I'll be known as the fertilization president. That's okay. That's not bad. That's not bad. I've been called much worse. Actually, I like it, right? I like it.
How about this? Let's hit a break. But first, this part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services, and there at Pest Pro, Ashley and that fantastic team are ready to help you with any and all of your pest control needs. We had Ashley in the studio here just the other day. You were here.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that subscription model they're now doing, where you just know you have consistent service, and it's not like a guessing game every time they come out. No, they have a regular schedule where they're visiting your property. You can get sort of the baseline pest control. I think it starts at like $40 a month. Right. And then you can add on, say, mosquito treatments, which are going to be a real problem.
Well, that's a must.
As well as termite treatments.
Mm-hmm.
You can get all that covered for $100 a month. And just you add it essentially to all the regular things you do to maintain the integrity and value of your home.
And they give you the services for the insects at the appropriate time.
Exactly.
It's not they're selling you something all year round when you don't need it.
No.
It's the appropriate time.
Exactly right. And they can really help you, especially if you haven't had an inspection for termites in a while. Maybe you're looking to buy a home, and they do a lot of these inspections there. They can do new construction as well. Also, it doesn't have to be residential. They can do commercial pest control as well. They do it all. They're really great, skilled professionals at Pest Pro Services, but they're also local folks. So your money's helping out the local economy when you use Pest Pro Services. You can learn more at ppsriverregion.com, or you can always search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces, but just call them direct, 265-9990. That's 265-9990. When you want to know, call a pro, Pest Pro Services. And be sure to tell Ashley and that great team there that Joey, that fella on the radio, sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Adams Drugs has been committed to the healthcare of the people of the River Region for over 62 years. We value the trust each customer has in our pharmacists, techs, and entire staff. If you have not experienced the difference of Adams Drugs and are not satisfied with the customer service that you get in the big box stores, we invite you to visit any of our locations and see how committed we are to your satisfaction. Adams Drugs offers a variety of services that you will not find in all pharmacies in the River Region. Personalized compounding, area-wide delivery, wellness screenings, immunizations, medication consultations, and specialized packaging, just to name a few. Visit us at our website, adamsdrugs.net, and find the location nearest you. Adams Drugs has 12 convenient locations to serve you. Your satisfaction is our #1 goal. Adams Drugs is your local Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Ernest. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment.
Well, the baby liked it.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values. This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
On FM, on your smartphone, and online. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. That's 334-272-9228. In studio with me, Byron Sheehy. And I was going to go to the RFK video. I thought I would find it here. There's some weird things going on with the Twitter today. Let me just type in RFK Jr. because he has already started to downsize. Just in first steps, 10,000 employees at HHS will be cut, which is pretty incredible. Pretty incredible indeed. And I guess next they're going to be looking into also CDC, FDA. There's going to be a lot of scaling back.
The CDC is the one that kind of scares me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any, I guess it's still the lab Wuhan COVID thing, but if we got some deadly viruses under some extreme conditions and temperatures, I kind of want to make sure them bad boys stay locked up.
Oh, I agree with that. Yeah, there should definitely be some basic controls, but I just also, I don't buy that's clearly what they're doing. The Republicans just don't care. In this case, RFK Jr., lifelong Democrat, he just doesn't care. He's just serving Trump and all his crazy conspiracies. The worm in his head is actually what's controlling him. But here's the report from the Daily Caller. Department of Health and Human Services plans to slash 10,000 employees in a major restructuring plan. RFK Jr. announced that today. When combined with other efforts by the Department of Government Efficiency, otherwise known as DOGE, to downside the workforce, will be reduced from 82,000 to 62,000 full-time employees. So a whole 20,000 in cuts there, which is pretty incredible. Quoting Kennedy from his statement, "We aren't just reducing bureaucratic sprawl. We are realigning the organization with its core mission and our new priorities in reversing the chronic disease epidemic. This department will do more, a lot more, at a lower cost to the taxpayer." Kennedy said the restructuring involves eliminating an entire alphabet soup of departments while streamlining others. Major changes include combining many offices into more centralized ones, HHS announced. HHS plans to create the Administration for a Healthy America, which will combine the Office of the Assistant Secretary for Health, Health Resources and Services Administration, Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services, Agency for Toxic Substances and Disease Registry, and National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health. That'll all be balled up into one organization. The Administration for Strategic Preparedness and Response will be subsumed into the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. So to your point, no, let's just take this and put it directly at the CDC. Mm-hmm. HHS's many divisions will be consolidated, and administrative functions across 3 divisions like Human Resources and IT will be centralized. 28 divisions will be consolidated to 15. 10 regional offices will be consolidated to 5. At the FDA, one of the least trusted agencies within HHS, 3,500 full-time employees will be cut in operations and administration. HHS said the move will not affect drug, medical device, or food reviewers or inspectors. NIH will combine administrative employees across its 27 institutes and centers, leading to approximately 1,200 positions being cut. CDC will reduce its workforce by 2,400 employees, which will be offset by approximately 1,000 employees from the disease response team moving into the CDC. The division of labor between the many offices under HHS stoked confusion and inefficiencies during the COVID-19 pandemic, you think? In many ways, like one of the lessons I learned from COVID is, for instance, like the Japanese system was much more hyper-localized to where they really could be on top of where's the exact outbreak and do it very quickly and have to recreate anything. And a lot of these, say, local offices had a lot more independence to make decisions quickly and understand it. But HHS grew considerably during the pandemic. The Food and Drug Administration grew by 13%, CDC grew by 26%, and the National Institutes of Health grew by 34% under Biden, according to a trade publication called Government Executive.
Cut it all.
Yeah. Here.
That's a fair point. Any agency that grew under, and I'm not even going to say Biden, any agency that grew under COVID, cut it all. Whatever it grew under COVID, at the bare minimum, start there, and then we can get down to the administrative, the salaries and all that sort of stuff.
Well, we'll see. I got to hit another break here, but first, this entire hour, second hour, brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And they're at Alabama Home Mortgage. Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon are ready to help you whether you're looking to purchase a home, especially if it's your first time buying a home. Why not go with great local trusted folks that can walk you through the process from pre-approval? That's the first step. Do not skip getting pre-approved, but all the way to closing day and every step in between. They've got your back. They're at Alabama Home Mortgage. And of course, if you're looking to get credit card debt off your back, or it could be your debt structure's fine, but you're looking to, say, restructure your monthly overhead costs. Say you just are about to hit retirement age, or you're in retirement. You're like, I need to change this up. Well, if you've built up equity in your home, it's a great way to do it. They recently saved somebody who listens to the show $400 a month with that sort of deal. It was actually a veteran. And by the way, they specialize in helping veterans. They're at Alabama Home Mortgage. They're the latest with the VA home loan programs, and it is the best deal in town. If you're a veteran, you haven't used it, you need to call them up now.
$400 is real money, man.
Absolutely. Monthly, very real money, especially if you're in retirement, you want to relax, not worry too much in the long term.
Fixed income.
So y'all call them up today. That number for Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or you can always apply online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Let Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Is your business feeling the heat of cyber attacks? Tired of worrying about ransomware, data breaches, downtime, and employee mistakes? GTI Managed IT Solutions has been your trusted partner since 1999, safeguarding and supporting businesses like yours from the ever-evolving threats in the digital world. GTI, your peace of mind is guaranteed. Call us today at 819-4650 or visit gtinow.com.
For reliable electrical services in Central Alabama, trust the experts at Crosby Electric. Crosby's licensed and insured electricians are ready to tackle any project for your home, from troubleshooting, repairs, to installing new lighting and preventive maintenance. And Crosby understands the need for quality service for small business. Crosby is big enough for the largest job, yet small enough to bring real value. Visit CrosbyElectric.com to schedule your service. Crosby, powering Central Alabama with excellence.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Montgomery Paint and Body. From little fender benders to total body repair, MPB will fix it good as new, maybe better. For 4 decades, the Turner family has been getting you back on the road. Call 279-7325.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Our storm-free pattern continues for a couple of more days, and our warm pattern will continue right on through the weekend. Today's a good day with a good bit of sunshine. Warm today and tomorrow with a high in the lower 80s both days. Sunshine will be limited on Friday. Scattered showers and thunderstorms start popping up Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening. That's disturbance number 1. Mid-80s on Sunday, and then the main event, I think, could be early in the day Monday, maybe even starting pre-dawn perhaps. It's a severe weather event, including the threat of tornadoes. But we still have a few days to watch that. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
We all want access to care and coverage we need to stay healthy, but Farm Bureau health plans aren't the answer. They are unregulated and unreliable when it comes to covering you and your family. If you have cancer or another pre-existing condition, well, you'd be out of luck. Alabama deserves better than empty promises. Call your state legislator now and tell them to vote no on Farm Bureau health plans. Visit fightcancer.org/Alabama. It's time for real health insurance.
Paid for by the American Cancer Society Cancer Action Network.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
When news happens, you'll hear about it first. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back. Now, Byron, I want to go in a direction where I don't know where this leads, but I've been told that it's fire emoji, so good, all caps fire emoji. That's what I'm being told. And it's Senator John Kennedy from Louisiana.
I trust it already.
Yeah, so this is John Kennedy taking on a crazy witness, apparently. And I always love it. I think this guy is probably the best at this. Like, Ted Cruz can get fiery. There are certainly some smart Democrats that can tie people in pretzels too. But John Kennedy combines the smart with this
down home folksy.
Yeah, it's the Southern politician that you really it's a lost art in a lot of ways.
Is your grandfather caught you in a lie and he's going to let you explain it?
Yes. No, my grandfather's had a story about that where my Aunt Karen was very young and she drew like a bunch of stuff, like a whole scene, like stick figures with crayons on the newly painted wall in the house. And so he got all the kids together, made them stand like in line in front of him. It's like, who drew this horsey on the wall? On my brand, who drew this horsey? And my Aunt Karen goes, that's not a horsey, that's a people. So he knew who drew it. So you're right. It is very much like a granddaddy's caught you in a lie, wants you to explain it. So here we go. And this is Senator John Kennedy. Let's listen in.
Position, Professor Franks, is that I think you used the word myth. It is a myth that the Biden administration used government to compel speech, private speech, but that the Trump administration is doing that. Is that a fair characterization?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Do you think perhaps you're allowing your personal political beliefs to affect your objectivity here?
No, I do not.
Okay, what I want you to do, Byron, is look up Dr. Mary Ann Franks.
I'm looking her up.
Because if she's crazy, she's also smoking hot.
I was going to say she's crazy hot.
Yeah, that's unusual. We don't normally see this in these political committee hearings. Anyway, sorry for being duding out there.
Oh,
this is true.
No apologies necessary, Joey.
Anyway, let's keep listening.
What is guiding my answers here is that I'm looking to see what the Supreme Court has said. You notice that in the testimony about the censorship industrial complex.
I got that part.
I just
want to
clarify.
No, but I've only got 5 minutes. Your answer is no, as I appreciate it. Let me ask you a couple questions. You wrote a law review article in December of 2023 for the New York University Law Review, and it was about the two cases, Bruin, Supreme Court case, and Dobbs. Remember that article?
Yes, I do.
Okay. In this article, you said I'm going to quote your words. Taken together, these two cases demonstrate that the Supreme Court has embraced the use of the Constitution as a tool of racial patriarchy, end quote. Did you say that?
Yes.
Okay. And then you went on to say, quote, when the Supreme Court declares that there is a constitutional right to armed self-defense in public, it openly embraces and promotes a culture that privileges white men's ability to terrorize and kill those that they perceive as threats, close quote.
Woo.
Did I read that correctly?
I believe so. Thank you for reading.
Okay. And did you also say in that article, I'm going to quote again.
His cell phone's going off.
Quote, by simultaneously expanding white men's right to kill and constricting women's right not to die, this Supreme Court, referring to the current United States Supreme Court, has turned the Constitution into a homicide pact as well, close quote. Did you write that?
That sounds like me.
Okay.
So far we're like, what he's winding it up for.
Well, she's way less attractive now.
I disagree.
No,
she's more attractive.
You think after that? Nah, man.
Yeah, no, because it's like
hate,
like the embodiment of like the hatred for you.
Yeah.
But you still get together.
Yeah, I know what you're implying.
Like, you seen that the Palestinian chicken episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm?
I've only really dated Democrats, so
you know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
It's like, I hate you, but
Yes.
bloodlessly.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying.
Making up with passion.
In November of 2024, you tweet.
We're laughing at him pausing that long, but that is such a, like, I remember watching old clips of Hal Heflin doing the same damn thing. Let's keep going.
I'm not sure what the current terminology is for it, but yes, I am sometimes on the social platform that was formerly known as Twitter.
Yeah, you're on a lot, aren't you?
I'm not sure what the relevance of that is.
You try to be provocative on there, don't you?
Ooh, risque.
Again, I'm not sure what the relevance.
Well,
of this
let
question
me
is.
show you the relevance. On November 7th, 2024, from your tweet, here's one of your tweets at 2:41 p.m. Quote: the majority of Americans hate women. The majority of Americans hate women more than they love anything, including democracy. Close quote. Did I read that correctly?
I am not sure what this has to do with the subject matter of this.
Did you say it?
I do not have those words in front of me. I probably said something along those lines, but
Yeah,
what is
you
the
said it.
relevance
Here
of that
it
to
is,
this
big as
hearing?
Dallas, right there.
Yes.
But your political beliefs don't impact your feelings about President Biden or President Trump.
I don't have feelings about either of them. What I have
Sounds
is
to me like you have your favorite feeling is anger. Let me ask you this. You issued another tweet. This was in May of 2022. You've just been tweeting up a storm. You said, quote, there's a reason why the conservative-dominated Supreme Court thinks the Constitution does not contain a right to an abortion, but is convinced that it contains an individual right to possess firearms. And that reason is white male supremacy, close quote. Did I read that correctly?
Is there a question in this?
Did I read that correctly? That's
Is there
my
a question that is
question.
relevant to this hearing?
Did I read that correctly? Do you really think that the United States Supreme Court, you're an officer of the court, is guided by white male supremacy?
I believe that the First Amendment prohibits the president
Did you
other
say
state
that?
officials for punishing people for
Did
their
you honestly say that, Professor?
I
And you
believe
expect us,
that the First
as a
Amendment,
Democratic witness, to take you seriously? Are you kidding me?
I believe that you should take
You
the First
heard of
Amendment
curb your
seriously, sir.
enthusiasm? Here's my saying, curb my nausea.
I believe that you should
The
take
time
the First
has expired.
Amendment
Thank you,
seriously.
Senator.
Oh, damn. Damn. I haven't seen a put down of an awful that good in a long time. Woo!
He's still got it from the top rope.
Well, and she's like, "But how's this relevant to the hearings? Your credibility You're an expert witness here. I'm undermining your credibility, you crazy hot, crazy broad.
I wish you just had 30 more seconds just to ask. So women can't buy firearms in the United States. So that's the logic that's flowing here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
God bless that guy.
I feel bad for whoever she went home to that night because she was not going to be happy leaving that.
Well, because that one thing about emotion. Well, let's. We got a little time. Let me play this back.
The
Well,
relevance
let me show you the relevance. On November 7th, 2024, from your tweet, here's one of your tweets at 2:41 p.m. Quote: "The majority of Americans hate women. The majority of Americans hate women more than they love anything, including democracy." Close quote. Did I read that correctly?
I am not sure what this has to do with the subject matter of this.
Did you say it?
I do not have those words in front of me. I probably said something along those lines, but
Yeah,
what is
you
the
said it.
relevance of
Here
that
it
to
is,
this
big as
hearing?
Dallas, right there.
Yes.
But your political beliefs don't impact your feelings about President Biden or President Trump.
I don't have feelings about either of them. What I have
Sounds
is
to me like you have your favorite feeling is anger.
And that's what did it.
Did you see her smile when he said that?
The face that she's making right now, I feel like she's probably made to every other man in her life at some point.
Like, just let's watch it carefully as he says it.
Sounds to me like you have your favorite feeling is anger. Let me ask you.
When she did that, that was.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's so good.
I think I would honestly, I'd work for that man for free.
Yeah. No, it's kind of her. Clearly a very sharp, clever woman going like, damn, I want to say so much right now because that was a good zinger. I want to zing you back, but I can't.
I loved when he was like, and you were just tweeting up a storm. Just twittering away.
And how she kept asking, what's the relevance? And he just knocks it out of the park in the 5 minutes. The dude is fantastic in these committee hearings. He's the best in the business right now.
The thing that I love in this whole setup is his card or his trump is he knows that she loathes him. And he's just gonna lap it up.
And yet he still has the ability to disarm people. Like how he approaches he doesn't just come out yelling and be like, you shut us right. No, he always kind of ropes people in a little bit.
It's because we speak slow, man.
Yeah, we don't know much of anything, right?
Bunch of dumb old country folk.
Final hour coming up.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. President Trump has withdrawn Representative Elise Stefanik's nomination as UN ambassador. The president said the New York Republicans' exit from the House posed an unacceptable risk to passing his legislation. Stefanik has not yet resigned from the House. French President Macron says that France and Britain will continue to forge ahead with plans to deploy troops in Ukraine to defend an eventual peace deal with Russia, but he says that only some other nations want to take part. NATO clarifying comments that Secretary General Mark Rutte made when he suggested that 4 U.S. soldiers who went missing while training in Lithuania had died, even though the U.S. Army said their fate was not yet confirmed. NATO says the search is ongoing and it regrets the confusion. This is SRN News.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where over-the-road dump truck drivers are needed right now. Home twice a week and every weekend. Must leave early on Sunday with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Call them now at 855-777-9785.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Our storm-free pattern continues for a couple of more days, and our warm pattern will continue right on through the weekend. Today's a good day with a good bit of sunshine. Warm today and tomorrow with a high in the lower 80s both days. Sunshine will be limited on Friday. Scattered showers and thunderstorms start popping up Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening. That's disturbance number one. Mid-80s on Sunday, and then the main event, I think, could be early in the day Monday, maybe even starting pre-dawn perhaps. It's a severe weather event, including the threat of tornadoes. But we still have a few days to watch that. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
You can make your ASC loan payments from your phone anytime, anywhere. It's quick and easy. www.yourasccu.com. Federally insured by NCUA.
ASD Credit Union. Your life, your cause, your ASD.
1819 News.
The HR Digest has written an article about the effects of removing the overtime tax on workers, which was first pioneered here in the state of Alabama in the 2023 legislative session. The HR Digest calls this move a game changer for frontline workers in the state, noting that the state of Alabama was the first to pass this type of tax exemption. One nurse testified to the HR Digest that she's able to provide $1,000 more a year by not having the 5% income tax rate applied to her overtime nursing hours. The state has also seen a 5% increase in overtime volunteers as a result of this tax exemption. The state legislature is about to consider whether or not to let this tax exemption expire in June of this year or to extend it further. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Are you enjoying 1819 News? If so, consider joining 1819 News as a member. As a nonprofit news organization, we depend on the support of Alabamians like you. Memberships start out as little as $5 a month, and you'll get access to exclusive content only offered to our members. You'll be supporting independent journalism done by people who cherish Alabama values. Become a member today by visiting 1819news.com and clicking Become a Member. That's 1819news.com and click Become a Member today.
A lawsuit has been filed against a nursing home in Grand Bay regarding two of the residents there. The lawsuit accuses the nursing home staff of covering up a sexual assault that occurred in 2024. The lawsuit details out how one of the male residents went into another resident's room and sexually assaulted her. That female victim has a condition that makes her nonverbal. When family members suspected what happened, they say they sought answers and the event was downplayed by the staff. WKRG News reached out to the nursing home but did not get a response. Auburn football coach Hugh Freeze has been given a prostate cancer diagnosis. Freeze says he will continue his coaching duties while undergoing treatment. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group with your Real Estate Minute. You're thinking of selling your home. Here are several ways to improve the look of your home and possibly the value. Number one, improve the curb appeal with trim bushes and cut the grass. Repaint the exterior where needed, and if needed, paint your front door. Number two, declutter the inside of the home by removing items that are not needed off countertops, dressers, and the den. Three, paint walls and trim where needed with a fresh coat of paint in a light color that will show off your home. Four, clean your oven and microwave inside and out, make it shine. Number five, professionally clean carpets or shine the wood floors with a polish or Bono. Six, clean out all closets or unwanted clothes, shoes, belts, hats, and donate them to a local charity. Finish any leftover repairs now, doorknobs, light bulbs, and closet doors. For a complete list and an in-person evaluation and consultation, call Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group, 221-2883 or 551-0225.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
We live in the Southeast. We drink whiskey. We don't drink socialist Kool-Aid.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to the program. Final hour here. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Byron Sheehy here in the studio with us. And one thing in entertainment news, it looks like Mel Gibson's Passion of the Christ sequel. I wonder what's going to happen.
I bet he rises.
You think?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that sequel's, they're going to begin shooting that sequel. I like it. It's going to be called, the Passion of the Christ sequel will be called The Resurrection of the Christ. So I think you're right about this, actually. Good call, man. The biblical epic follow-up is to start shooting in August at in Rome. Oh, my. Producer and CEO of the studio there in Rome revealed The Resurrection of the Christ has now, quote, set an August start date for the shooting of the sequel with Mel Gibson at the helm as director. Alongside Mel Gibson, The Resurrection of the Christ is also expected to see another controversial Hollywood star, Jim Caviezel. All these people are controversial. Mel Gibson's controversial. I mean, they're not like liberal fruitcakes.
Yeah. They're not on The View every Friday morning.
Right. Well, and they very publicly, at least in Gibson's case, did nasty thing, being real drunk. Other cast members expected to return. Many of the folks are expected to return. But there's some saying that it might actually be more like a acid trip. Like Gibson's going to try to bring in like the metaphysical, spiritual elements of what it means for Christ to have been resurrected, to have descended into hell and ascended and risen again.
If I wanted that, I'm going to go to my favorite Baptist preacher. I just don't know how he's going to be able to, capture that.
Yeah, this is a quote from Gibson saying, the script is very structured, a very strong script, and a kind of more than what you'd expect. Well, there are two scripts. That's one. The other is like an acid trip because you're going into the other realms and stuff. I mean, you're in hell and you're watching the angels fall. It's like crazy.
See, so now we're going to get more, I don't know. That just seems more like it would have to be more about his understanding of the doctrine and what happened.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, man.
We'll see. But, of course, moving along from that, I was expecting more detail in that report, but it's honestly stuff I had learned on Joe Rogan months ago when Gibson was on there. But I'm just going to read this article directly from The Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth is under close scrutiny as Republican lawmakers criticize his handling of sensitive military information at a group chat with other administration officials that inadvertently included a journalist. This is such a crap operation. This is clearly an op. Like, Hegseth isn't even the one who brought the journalist in. He didn't share all that secret of anything.
Well, you can see who they have their beefs with, because I saw somebody that was trying to say Tulsi did it.
I know. Republican lawmakers, again, do we have actual names? Or are these weenies going to anonymously talk to The Hill?
Coward lawmaker.
Yeah. Republican lawmakers have stopped short of calling on Hegseth to resign, but they're warning that his decision to share sensitive details about a pending military strike against Houthi rebels in Yemen over Signal, a commercial app, is a clear quote-unquote strike against him. Really? Well, who is saying this? Well, there's one guy who's putting his name to it. Credit to this guy, but here's the quote. I think they should make sure it never happens again. I wish they'd tell us it will never happen again. It's the first strike in early stages of an administration, said Senator Kevin Kramer of North Dakota, member of the Senate Armed Services Committee. Don't let it ever happen again. I don't know how many strikes you get. In baseball, you get 3. Maybe this is worth 2, he added. If mistakes like this continue to happen, we'll deal with them as it happens. My hope and my expectation is that it won't. Another Republican senator said President Trump is quote-unquote not happy, but noted that so far the president is sticking by Hegseth and National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, who reportedly assembled the group chat. Trump on Tuesday downplayed the controversy, calling it the only glitch in 2 months. GOP senators are questioning Hegseth's judgment in the whole affair. What the hell are y'all questioning?
I don't understand how are they going to put Pete in the crosshairs when he wasn't responsible for hosting? Like we've discussed a couple of days ago and off the air. To me, either Walls made an incredibly boneheaded, dumb, accidental decision and accidentally hit add, which I kind of find it hard to believe. B, he added the dude knowingly, and that's much more problematic from the president's standpoint. Or C, like was said, break out the tinfoil, pitchforks, and let's go to war with the deep state because he got added on the back end. I don't, nowhere in there is Hegseth involved.
I know. Oh, they're like, well, he gave the date and time, a strike package was coming. He didn't. Like, it's just, honestly, I think there are a lot of people who are old timers in DC who don't like the foreign policy team Trump has put together, the direction Trump actually wants to take with all this. Mm-hmm. And they will look, Republicans I'm talking about, Democrats, of course, we know are going to do what they do. There are a lot of Republicans who will look to overturn, to disband this team on the slimmest of reasons. Absolutely crazy.
So where are you personally right now? What do you think happened?
I think a staffer screwed up.
You think it was a staffer?
If I had to bet, yeah.
I think it's probably more likely that the gentleman actually messed up than a staffer.
Maybe Waltz did.
Because if the staffer did it, I think because, like I was telling you, looked into him, it wasn't some junior aide. That dude was top level. He didn't accidentally do that. It would have been more nefarious if
a lot of people are pointing at Alex Wong.
Yeah, that's the guy. Wong. But
he used to work for Romney.
Well, he did some of Romney's foreign affairs during his campaign, but he was also Tom Cotton. He was his Senate
Armed Services Committee. Yeah.
I mean, like the guy's credentialed. Shoot, he was head of Korea under Trump. I mean, like he's worked in the administration previously. Like the guy's been through the traps. So I have a hard time believing that Wong, accidentally or purposely added this guy.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Or we won't. Because, of course, we've been talking about this or the nation has been talking about this longer than they did the Trump assassination attempt. President almost gets his head blown off on national TV. Well, after a few days, that's it. Nobody cares. It's just, I'm so tired of having these a-holes screw with everybody. Y'all are miserable people sometimes.
But we need them to do that so that we stay where we are. Mm-hmm. I mean, we stay on edge. We stay sharp. We stay motivated because they keep ticking us off and keep acting, the way that they've been doing it. I mean, call it what you want to, but this is a battle.
Yep. Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
Brian from Prattville.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey guys.
What's up?
I find it hard to believe also that he accidentally added Jeffrey Goldberg, one of the worst reporters out there, right, for the Atlantic. So something's funny there. But the other thing is NPR CEO, Catherine, was her last name?
Mayor.
He sits on the Signal Foundation board. So I found that interesting.
Right. And if the CIA is saying, well, it's cool for everybody to use Signal on a lot of these basic conversations, it's like it's installed in the phones, this is approved. It makes me go,
I asked somebody, I guess it's allowed, but I asked someone in the military, I was like, what network or how would you be communicating? He was like, oh, we have our own private, I think I'm going to get them backwards. There's Cipher and ZipperNets. One's more for common use amongst us.
Now you're just speaking Greek to me.
Or military. And then the other side's more secure, that is for stuff like this.
Yes.
But listen to you guys. See, like Excess said, there was no names, no targets, there's no specifics anywhere. So there's no harm, no foul here. They're just trying to make a lot out of nothing. So I love listening to you guys.
Appreciate it. Guys. No, and it is a little it's frustrating to know that it's not the obvious enemies that are the problem. It's these wolves.
That's right.
These snakes who have been long there. And it's not about the specific. They're always looking for an inciting incident to be like, nope, let's put our own people in charge.
In politics, it's a lot like driving, man. Your blind spots are what gets you in trouble. It's not the accidents or the bad drivers or, the problems that you can see in front of you. It's the things that are happening right beside you.
Let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, Charles Persaduni.
Hey, Charles.
Hey, Joey. Hey, Byron.
Hey, Charles.
I've got this idea for doing something about the overtime tax relief being done away with by the legislators, if you don't mind me suggesting it.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm on Quora. I'm viewed by I average 4,700 and something people every week, Joey.
Awesome.
Byron. I'm also the top person on mathematics and physics on Quora with 1 million followers on the site, and I'm the most read person. And you would like that because it has to do with quantum physics, and I also own the rights to developing AGI, which I just wrote my first post, and it's climbing like crazy. But what I was going to say was I would put down the names and write articles, but I would put down the names of every single legislator that voted against, keeping the overtime that, free. You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And I would put it on a very easy. Right now, I've got the idea of calling it unvote, unoffice, ne'er-do-wells, voting overtime to end. Unvote. And particularly at their time when they're going to run, put this on there so anybody, especially those who did have the freedom of not being taxed on their overtime, Alabama Unfiltered Radio would definitely let me tell how to reach this. So would some other places that I'm on the radio station in North Alabama, plus my contacts from being press secretary. I believe that, do something, take some action, and I think this would be some action. I can also reference this to every single county and city in the state of Alabama that's on Quora, which is almost every one of them. So I just wanted to see what you thought of that.
Man, you don't know how happy makes my heart warm. I'm not even that's 100% sincere. The fact that voters are getting engaged and holding people accountable, bad actors on bad votes, and not letting them forget about it. Brother, that music to my ears.
It's great. Charles, you got me a little distracted. Now, tell me about artificial general intelligence and how it's developing.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, you remember what I told you about Frank Tipler in Andalusia? Do you remember that, Joey?
Honestly, no. I apologize.
Okay. Frank Tipler is on par with, you can look this up, okay, with Richard Feynman. Now, you know who Richard Feynman is, correct?
Yeah, yes.
Yes, okay. Protege of John Wheeler. John Wheeler was right there in the midst of the Einstein-Bohr debate. Have you got me?
Mm-hmm.
These persons, there are about 7 of them. One of them was Everett, who was the one that gave us multi-universe. You got me?
Sure.
Now, a Tipler is one of those proteges. Have you got me?
Okay.
He teaches at Tulane University. He is the one that was writing a book called The Omega Point, And it's about how he was not a Christian. He gave up his Christian background, but he was researching what would happen if you took mathematics to see what would happen if you tried to find out about infinity. Got me?
Mm-hmm.
In doing so, he found that it was what would have to happen if you followed the basic laws of tenets of physics would be what the Bible says. You would have Father, Son, Holy Ghost over time, going back and forth in time. Have you got me there?
Absolutely. It's all moving to a sort of final singularity or unification.
Yes, the final singularity, the omega point, would be the conglomeration of the three, just like it says in the Bible. Like every single thing that he was finding, as far as if you followed physics to infinity, through the basic tenets of all the world's major religions. Now, my sister dated his stepson when I'm in high school, and I'm just old enough to have a permit to drive.
Okay.
I have to chaperone. I'm reading all his books. That's all I have to do. You get what I'm saying there on the TV or whatever. So that's why I know as much as I do about it. And that's how come I even got a jump, because he talked about those things in 1979, 1978. So on my developing AGI, what I've said is you can't just use algorithms. What you've got to have is a non-observable way of AI making a choice. Are you following me there?
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm trying to say? And what I suggest is that you use the twinkling of celestial bodies that are yet to be seen. Have you got me?
Mm-hmm.
It's connected to the system. The system is actually based upon, you take a group of people like on Quora, and you have them answer questions and tell what their rationality was for doing what they do, how they came about getting what they get.
All right.
A regular AI is going to become intelligent by knowing this, but it's not going to mimic. It's going to make decisions just like microtubules, if you've ever heard of that, that Penrose says that we use quantum physics-wise to make decisions with our own brains.
Mm-hmm.
When something's 50-50, it will depend upon and be connected to, and there's already apps that will do this. Okay? It will use a twinkling of stars. And decisions will be made, and everything will be based upon, just like a child would have to learn, the AI would learn from like a group of Quora that was actually specialized in telling their rationale. Not only that, but the AI would also grasp their personalities as it was getting their information. Do you follow me?
How do you factor that in? Or, I mean, like, how do you value or scale that?
Well, I get into it on the, in the whole article, if you want to read it.
Yeah, fascinated.
That's based on a guy named Matthew Leifer, Leifer, and Chambers and McQueen. They wrote a fantastic book that has to do with everything about that. And so I've got all those references. I've got all the references of the persons that anybody wants to know. I put the 11 or 12 names of where you can find every single bit of that, guys. And one of the most important persons was the person from back in the 1835 or so, I want to say, William James Sidus. Do you know who that is?
No.
William James Sidus it's a fantastic story. The highest IQ of anyone ever. You got me?
Mm-hmm.
And the way this happened was his parents were from Ukraine. William James, like the William James, okay, they decided that they were going to teach a child from the time he was born to make him the most educated, most intelligent person. So the family even let William James raise, along with their own ideas, because that's what they were experts in. He went to Harvard at the age of 11. They offered him to go at 9, and he graduated at 16. He wrote a book about what has to do with everything that we're talking about. It's called The Animate and the Inanimate. And, it's like they should make a movie about what happens to this guy. You would not believe it in a million years. He goes to the Supreme Court to fight for his own self for what a reporter does to him, just like reporters are doing nowadays. The reporter said that pretended that he was going to be nice to William and wasn't nice to William, wrote a scathing story saying that just because you have a higher IQ doesn't make you better than the average Joe. It was terrible, and he was his own attorney because he had a law degree from Harvard, and he went to the Supreme Court and lost, and within a year and a half died, guys. And guess what overturned it, so to speak? The Hulk Hogan ruling had everything to do with this same ruling. Same type thing, except it got settled out of court. The Supreme Court said if you're famous for anything, you can be talked about in any way by a reporter or anything gave about you, even though he couldn't help that he was intelligent, unlike a celebrity. Isn't that neat?
Man, there's just so many layers to this, and I'm looking at the Omega point and just some of the references you're making, and definitely a deep dive. That is
and remember, I was actually reading that, studying that, taking notes on that at the age of like 15, 16, 17, because like I said, that's all I had to do. There's his notes. There's all his books. And if you look up Frank J. Tipler in reference to John Wheeler, you will see what I'm talking about him being a protege, just like the others, just like the other famous persons. And he still lives in Andalusia, Alabama.
All right, then.
But yeah, hey, I appreciate you letting me tell everybody. But don't forget, I'm wanting to do that where I'm going to name all of them and write articles. And when it gets voting time, whoever in the next little bit decides they're going to vote for it, their name will be on that. It will be known, and I will make it. Every radio program and everything I can write, they will be known. It will be known that they did it.
Hey, Charles, how about this? Let me put you on hold, and I'll give you my cell number, my direct number off air, so we can stay on top of that, what you just said, and whatever else. I'm going to hit a break, put you on hold. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks.
Well, let's hit this break.
James is definitely smarter than me.
Mm-hmm. Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man. Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money?
Well, like most smart folks, we call David Erdis.
You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist?
That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839.
I see.
Yes, he is our preferred money man.
The money man with the money plan.
You've been paying attention.
Well, could you give us those numbers one more time?
334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man.
Oh, what's that?
I'm not an elk.
Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you?
Knights of Columbus.
I am not even going to make a comment.
Well, the baby liked it.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Alabama weather will never fail to surprise you. Our lawns hardly get a chance to have any downtime. And as usual, it's already time to start getting ready for spring. This year, save the hard work and aggravation and call Alabama Lawns, the River Region's leader in weed control and fertilization services. What makes Alabama Lawns the River Region's best? It's the people. They have the experience, education, and commitment to customer satisfaction. Ask your neighbors. Alabama Lawns has been the Montgomery Advertiser's Reader's Choice Award winner 13 years in a row. The Alabama Lawn staff is made up up of long-term employees and agronomy graduates, and the staff at Alabama Lawns attend annual continuing education classes. It pays to have someone that knows southern grass types and how to keep them green and flourishing. Call Alabama Lawns today at 272-7171 and let them show you real value in a lawn maintenance service. Alabama Lawns, the company with black trucks and green lawns. 272-7171.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Pestruccelli, General Sales Manager and co-owner of Blue Water Broadcasting. Even in the digital age, radio remains the most powerful reach medium for connecting with audiences. Its ability to engage listeners, reach a wide and diverse audience, and create real emotional connections sets it apart from other forms of media. Radio's adaptability and easy access ensure its continued relevance now and in the future. Want to learn how radio can work for your business? Visit BlueWaterBroadcasting.com. Blue Water Broadcasting, local folks helping local business.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of H&H Carpets across from Walmart on the Atlanta Highway, where right now you can get 1,050 square feet of carpet installed for $19.95 only at H&H Carpets in Montgomery.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Our storm-free pattern continues for a couple of more days, and our warm pattern will continue right on through the weekend. Today's a good day with a good bit of sunshine. Warm today and tomorrow with a high in the lower 80s both days. Sunshine will be limited on Friday. Scattered showers and thunderstorms start popping up Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening. That's disturbance number one. Mid-80s on Sunday, and then the main event, I think, could be early in the day Monday, maybe even starting pre-dawn perhaps. It's a severe weather event, including the threat of tornadoes. But we still have a few days to watch that. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
CB&S Bank has digital banking solutions to help you keep up. Check balances, pay bills, and much more. Learn more at cbsbank.com. Charges and fees may apply from your cellular service provider. Contact your service provider for information. Member FDIC.
The premier place the River Region turns to for news, weather, traffic, and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back to the program. Did you see that Lieutenant Governor Will Ainsworth was up at the White House today in Washington, D.C. To advocate for I-65 widening and Huntsville Space Command, saying, quote, Trump loves our sweet home, Alabama.
Definitely agree with that latter part.
I think he does. And then on the other side of the aisle, wannabe dictator Terry Sewell slams Trump's executive order requiring proof of citizenship. So being able to show you're a citizen to vote is dictatorship?
Man, I think I told you this story. Student race, Secretary of State over in Georgia. And when we found out that there was a different form, that had that one little box, in Georgia, for the state, you had to check it to say that you were a citizen. For the federal version, you didn't have to check that box. And I was like, well, surely it's just, you have to be a citizen. Nope. There's no onus on anybody.
Let's go to line one and talk to Duke. Hey, Duke, how you doing?
How you doing, Brian?
I'm all right.
And your partner, who's your partner there today?
Byron Sheehy.
What's up, Duke?
What's up, guy? Everything's good.
Yeah, life's good. Man.
You holding it in the road, or is it taking you off the road a little bit?
If I'm being honest, hard to keep the wagon out of the ditch sometimes, man.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, boy. Earlier you was talking about the overtime pay stuff. Enlighten me on that a little bit more. What's going on with that thing?
In 2023, they passed a bill that essentially removed taxes on overtime work.
Who introduced that bill?
Anthony Daniels, the House Minority Leader, who we've had on the show a few times.
Okay, go ahead.
And it was voted overwhelmingly by Republicans and Democrats. And
didn't Trump get on board with this thing too?
Oh yeah, Trump on the national level wants exactly that. But I think kind of Daniels didn't like this, the Republicans in leadership slapped on a sunset. So this exemption, tax exemption, when you work overtime, will go away in June of this year, just a few months away. And that would be a massive tax hike for a lot of folks working.
So why are these good, wholesome Republicans against this thing?
I don't know for the life of me. And last time we had Minority Leader Daniels in here, he sounded like a good old conservative, dynamic scoring and tax cuts for everyday people. All I've heard from Republican leadership in this state is it costs too much.
To whom?
But
right.
They're like the the gambling and everything. We got the Indian running thing. Now the Hyundai probably running this anything about the overtime thing. I wouldn't do nothing like that in the air. But what do you think?
You think it's the Indians that don't want this?
No. I said two things in one. I said the reason we can't get the gambling bill passed because we doesn't allow gambling in the state of Alabama. We call it gaming.
Mm-hmm.
So on this thing here, when they tried to get the union here, you got these southern states that got this right to work state, what they call it.
Mm-hmm.
So you got these companies that doesn't want things like that, my friend. Okay, they want to work. They want to work the hell out of you in 60, 70 hours and just for that little change. Okay. You done turned your life, made all kind of change in your life. But, you got to find somebody to babysit the kids if you're a single parent, and that's who calling the shop. These some of these big companies. They ain't going to call nobody name because, they may get mad with me or something like that.
No, you're not wrong. There are certainly big interests, yeah.
So, in some instances, they get to some of these politicians and throw a few dollars their way. Some people crazy as hell about money,
Well, and it showed after this was allowed for a year, this is from a report in a publication called the HR Digest, that Alabama was the first state to do this, and it showed a 5% increase in overtime volunteered. There's a nurse named Tammy Gaines who said, I picked up extra shifts without losing a massive chunk to taxes. It's $1,000 more a year for my family. And
then summing on up, I didn't mean to interrupt, I got something to do in a few seconds. But to sum it all up, me and you both know why this old colored boy introduced his thing, and some of these girl boys don't like no old colored boy getting no credit for something like this right here. So there we are.
See, I
don't think that's the reason.
Man, I'm going hell yes, that's what part of it is. Part of it is. It may not be all of it, but it's part of it.
Well, if that's the reason, that's the stupidest damn thing I've ever heard.
Well, he's a colored boy, he's a Democrat. I'm gonna tax it too. Okay? So there'll be somebody on
then why did they vote
for
it? Why did they vote for it in 2023?
Good question. They front by a lot of other stuff. Why did they vote for the gambling bill? Why did they vote for
I think it is
marijuana and all that?
There are certain interests in the state that like having a big surplus. They're fiscally conservative to a fault, where I think you could very easily, as Anthony Daniels said, and I tend to believe him, you cut the grocery tax and you could keep this overtime exemption on taxes, and you're still going to have a surplus.
And
what about the marijuana? What about the marijuana bill they passed a few years ago?
Oh, that's still held up in mediation.
So
what about the gambling bill again?
There's talk of it behind the scenes. But good luck with that, Sugar.
But then they wanted to turn the damn education over to the state of Alabama and had to get anything done.
What happens to the surplus after a given amount of time? Where does it go?
Some of it automatically goes into the different reserve funds, and then other aspects of it can be spent as a supplemental, I believe.
Okay.
Let me go. I got something to do. All right. All right.
Well, that's
love hearing from Duke.
We just, answer the question.
Yeah.
They can spend our money better than we can.
No, I think their reasoning is we expect a downturn. So at this point, we don't want to have, lower revenue sources.
But I'm sorry, if we are expecting a downturn, the taxpayers, the families, they need the money. They have to feed kids.
I'm with you 100%. I really am.
I know you are, buddy.
No, when I tried to put this out there in front of folks, I didn't get any traction. This report, I don't think got any traction. People are like,
I mean, I'll agree with him, man. It is kind of peculiar that a Democrat sounds more conservative than some of the Republicans. Hey, Republicans with any courage, feel free to actually, stand up and say, this is bad idea, wrong, anything like that.
Yeah, in February 25th, I had an op-ed. GOP supermajority may raise taxes over $500 million on the backs of the hardest working Alabamians. Now, and I got that number because Speaker Ledbetter at the time said the thing we thought about with the overtime tax, I think I'm quoting him, I think the fiscal note was like $34 million. Today, it's more like $230 million. If it goes a full cycle, it'd be over $500 million. That's for the full term. I don't know what we're going to do. We're going to look at that and try to make sure that we do it with a conservative effort.
Oh, man. Conservative effort. Uh-huh. From what vantage point? Conservative on the government side or the ideological, what the taxpayer?
Well, and I asked this question. If Ledbetter and the rest of the GOP leadership in the state of Alabama are so worried about losing over $500 million in tax revenue after granting overtime workers the privilege of keeping their own hard-earned money for a year, what do you think the hardest working people in Alabama feel about the government robbing over $500 million out of their wallets?
And people are getting proposed pay raises during this time too, right?
Yeah.
So,
and a crazy idea is if you're so worried about that $500 million being not coming in, maybe cut spending.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this?
Papa B.
Hey, Bobby B.
Hey, well, I got to say that Senator Kennedy, are you getting a reverb or anything?
Now it's fixed. Yeah, it's better now.
Okay. Senator Kennedy is like one of the Lord's tender mercies.
He is a national treasure.
Toward us. He truly is. I love that guy. And I'm telling you, he's like a senator meet Jerry Clower. Now, I know most of the younger folks, they just don't know. They don't know who Jerry Clower is. If you ever get a chance and you don't know, just pull up some of his old stand-ups. He's pretty funny, the old country guy. But that's who he reminds me of so much. There is a topic that's, really off the radar here.
Yeah.
That I like to bring up. And sooner or later, we here in Alabama are going to have to address this. Alabama is virtually one of the dumping grounds for this country. And I'm talking about waste, like real waste, like garbage, old tires, used tires, things like that. And the state of Alabama will not go ahead and pick it up as a, something that the state really needs to be responsible for in, kind of a fulsome way. What they've done is they've allowed the counties to determine, most of everything that occurs within these dumping sites. And that way it kind of keeps the problem off of their plate, in my humble opinion. The problem is it's really easy for somebody with a little bit of money to go into a county and just overpower them politically, buy off politicians, pay for campaign contributions, all of that happy stuff. And they pretty much can just run the tables in these little, especially
it's chump change
impoverished
too.
counties.
The return on investment's huge.
They have virtually no accountability. Now, ADM does get in there and they, write reports and have, some so-called oversight. I don't know how much they're really paid attention to, but hopefully it's more than I believe. But it really doesn't matter because the problem is not going away. And the reason is because nobody can come up with, apparently nobody with enough brain power can come up with a way to get rid of waste. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I know, but pretty much if you're going to get rid of waste, especially vulcanized rubber, there's really only one way to do it, and do it in a hurry, and that is incineration. Now, I don't know how you do that exactly, especially without offending the hypersensitive nostrils of these sweet Alabamians and these environmentalist wackos. But that's pretty much the only way. But the other alternative is just to put it in the ground, and 1,000 years from now, you can go and dig it back up if you can figure out what to do with it then. So, I mean, just in my humble estimation, again, you can have it 1,000 years in the ground, you know, continually leaching all kind of toxins into the dirt.
Yes.
Or you can have it a few hours in the air, broken up, so that Mother Earth might be able to chomp down on it and do something else with it. Now, Hong Kong, and I won't belabor this point, but Hong Kong has no trash buildup. And what they've done is they incinerate it all, everything. And they scrub it. They scrub the air. It's a, you know, big air scrubber so that all of these hypersensitive nostrils don't even smell it. And I mean, it yields a, basically ash. Now they call it new dirt, new sand, I think is what they call it. I don't know what, you know, other than it's just incinerated material, but they do something with it, you know, and they don't have any trash buildup. My main point is this, Joey. Sooner or later, this state is going to have to face up to this. Now, I'm not a big environmentalist wacko, as you know.
Right.
But I care about the environment. I think that any reasonable person should.
Of course. Especially this environment we got here.
Well, I mean, here we are. Everybody and their brother in the United States is sending their garbage to us. I don't think we should take it, man. Anyway.
Well, I have to admit, I'm learning from your call. I don't know much about this topic, but I mean, I've heard of it before, but I don't know the details of it and what sort of science or sort of industry process you could bring, as you mentioned with Hong Kong, to bear on this. What counties is this mostly happening in?
The rural.
That's counties. A lot. Just about all the counties that are rural, I think, have a dumping ground or two, maybe more.
Yeah.
You know, it's a big money thing. You know, I mean,
oh, sure.
They charge a lot of money to those folks bringing in that garbage, and not, you know, not nearly enough of it goes into environmental. You know,
I almost wonder, could you bring a class action lawsuit, like the community in a certain area?
That wouldn't be a good idea, actually. You know, that should actually, but again, the state of Alabama, as I understand it, they are just leaving it up to each and every individual county,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know that. I'm not saying that from a point of not knowing. I'm saying that from a point of pretty much knowing.
Yeah,
that's what we do.
That's pretty much nationwide how they do that.
Probably so. And so anyway, I'm going to throw out an appeal to any of the, you know, news folks here in Alabama to please look into this and say or do something about it. We really need to have more information. It needs to have an exposure, really a lot of exposure to the people of Alabama, because I don't think I'm alone, Joey. I think I'm pretty much right there. If people knew about it, I think people would actually start demanding that something be done about it.
Well, sometimes, you know, when I write a column or whatnot, I'll just come up with a title first, and I'm typing it in now. Why is Alabama America's dumping ground?
Well, that's a good title, and I think you need to write it. And
or I could just say America's dumping ground or dump.
Dumping ground.
Dumping ground.
Dumping ground.
And for
I mean, you know,
long?
they have no regard for us whatsoever down here. No, when you say everywhere in the country, I don't believe that's so at all.
Oh, no. I was talking about more about focusing on attacking through the county commissions. Like some of the experiences I've had, I'll be honest, Amazon, I was doing some political work in Virginia, and Amazon on a data center pretty much sent word back that y'all may be successful in, you know, getting rid of this county commissioner or protecting that one.
Mm-hmm.
But if they flat out said, we will send a gift card to every voter in this county until we get the vote that we want.
Damn.
Yes, sir. That's what
That
they
data
do.
center was
They will
coming.
do it.
Damn.
Yeah.
So-
Because
so-
it's not much money to them, but to the population in some of these counties.
Well, that's the problem. I mean,
the money goes a long way.
They'll, offer one of these county commissions or counties $50, $100, $250,000 to house this stuff, and it's real money to them.
Yeah.
But as far as the
Mhm.
long-term costs and impacts on the
Yeah,
community,
but that's what I would say. If I'm a county, I'm like, I don't want a nominal amount. I want a percentage going forward, and then an extra cost covering of any fallout from this procedure.
They probably do get it, Joey. I mean, I wouldn't, if I was one of those county officials that were, I don't want to call it bribery, but I'll call it bribery. If I were one that's being bribed in that way, I definitely want to have my time.
Well, I don't mean it like on a personal basis. I mean like the county official government will get a certain cut if we're going to let you do this here. And we can then distribute, say, you do it with oil dividends. You like.
Mm-hmm. Well, and all the more reason for the representative not to speak up, because the money is filtered up.
I don't even think.
Well, I got to hit a break here. Great call.
All right,
Thank you,
bud.
Bobby.
Yep.
272-9228. This part of the program, again, brought to you by Dillon Rings. They are a full-service jewelry shop here in the great state of Alabama. Like, I haven't seen every jewelry shop, so I hesitate to go the best, but I think they're the best. I think they're the best. I know they're the best in Montgomery.
I've been in a few. They're the best I've been in.
There you go.
Yeah.
And by full service, we mean everything you think of. An amazing selection, great inventory Leslie puts together, from high-end, rare, one-of-a-kind items to everyday jewelry that looks great but isn't going to break the bank. And then, of course, they can do spa treatments, clean up that ring or necklace or pendant or bracelet that you wear all the time. It looks like you wear it all the time. How about it shine and shimmer like it's brand new? Again, they can do that.
And we got Easter coming up. Got to get ready.
Ooh. And they can also do repairs. They can do custom design work if you truly want something unique. Josh Ryder is an amazing artist when it comes to that stuff. They also do appraisals, maybe get some jewelry laying around that you haven't had the value looked into in a while. They can do it all. Again, a full service jewelry shop. So stop by today, 119 Brown Springs Road here in Montgomery, just off of Atlanta Highway. And be sure to tell Josh and Leslie that Joey and Byron, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Get ready for CAFCO's Spring Open House Weekend, Thursday, April 2nd through Saturday, April 5th. Shop our exciting Easter decor, gift items, silk florals, and much more. Enjoy refreshments, register for door prizes, and shop our daily deals. Saturday, April 5th at 10:30, join Karen Gresham from Crafty Creations Wreath Shop for a designer demo. And enjoy music by Brian Brantley, noon till 3. Shop CAFCO's Spring Open House for huge savings on our already low outlet pricing, April 2nd through the 5th on the Wetumpka Highway.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Trustworthy, accurate, immediate. Carrying your voice across the river region. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones. Talk to Sam. Hey, Sam, how you doing?
I'm doing very well. Doing very well. This is Sam calling from NPR in the afternoon with Joey Clark and Brian. It's a beautiful day, and you can hear in my voice the excitement here at NPR. We about the money. It's like the spice must flow here at NPR. The money must flow, and that's topic of the day, topic du jour.
The money must flow?
Money must flow. Later in the show, come on, man, they get paid. This is great. Joy. Here. Later in the show, we have the results from the local Metro Dog Show. Yes, they find all-American young female Yorkie. I'm going to just stop right there.
I like his NPR voice.
No, it's a good NPR voice. I'm impressed.
That's right. The little bitch had the money. Yeah, I'm sorry. I forgot the name of the dog. Little,
goodness gracious.
Yes. her club. What was it? Club. Anyway, man. No, over the years, come on, Joy. You know, like I said, I had many office and whatnot, and that was, and sometimes that's the only thing you had, and it was good. But I could literally, I heard it decline. I just saw it over, man, since the '80s. But as the news got less and the opinion got more, and but yeah, they need to have a reminder of whose money they're spending. But doggone, man, that's some real salary. It'll make you talk like this, Joy, and enjoy it.
Well, my favorite NPR memory is, well, me and the guys here at the studio, we decided, given the rise of the manosphere, you know, the bro science that's online where people are sunning their testicles and others are taking, you know, over-the-counter products to boost their libido and testosterone, we decided to get a test for our own testosterone here, just the fellas here at the studio, and it turns out we're all women. Not seriously, they did a testosterone test, and they all were like way too low.
Really?
Yeah, they were all a little shocked about it. They're like, "Oh crap!"
It is insanity, man. It's insanity, civilized insanity. I've never seen such a thing. I had to get a little piece of that, though. But yeah.
Well, I appreciate it, Sam.
Greg skewed the results.
Thank y'all.
I know what he did. Greg skewed the results. Too much, man.
Yeah, too much. Too much, man. This part of the program, well, brought to you by Prattville Carpet. I tried to call Ray Bowles, but I think he's busy, which is always a good problem for our sponsors to have. And if you're interested in any sort of new, say, resurfacing job, you want a new floor down, you want a new countertop backsplash, kitchen, bathroom, or anywhere in the house, if you want a resurface job done, Prattville Carpet is the place to work with. They are fantastic folks, and they get the job done swiftly. Of course, they have amazing carpet products, traditional hardwood, luxury vinyl plank, the new epoxy floors that they can do. Absolutely fantastic product, fantastic service there. And so just call them up today at 285-8117, and they'll visit you, come to you, free in-home measurement. You pick out your product, and they'll get it down. That's simple. And maybe you're going on a vacation soon. Why not have Ray and the team, while you're on vacation, replace that floor so you're a little excited when you're coming back to the vacation. Can't wait to see home. They'll do it for you. So call them up today, 285-8117. That's 285-8117. And be sure to tell them that Joey, that fellow on the radio, sent you. I guess we learned a few things today, Byron.
I don't know, but I had fun.
Senator John Kennedy is a national treasure. NPR should be defunded.
Charles is way wicked smart.
Yeah, he is. Charles the doing. Charles the First to do any.
We got some Democrats in this state that might be more conservative than some of the Republicans.
And even if it's just them putting on a pose or something, I like that pose. Keep posing that way. I think it's a good thing. We need to cut taxes for everybody, but especially the hardest working folks in the state.
Yep.
We really do. So on that note, I guess we'll get out of here. Thanks for being here.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me. Go Braves, roll Tide.
And Greg Vidal, he's next.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy,